Oh, wow. Write these things down, John.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
And Sunday, June 3rd, 2018, this is your award-winning Gimmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 1039.
This is No Agenda.
Running on fumes, but ready to rock, and broadcasting live from the capital of the Drone Star State here in downtown Austin, Tejas, in the Cludio. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I'm proud to announce I've added to my collection of every version of Louie Louie ever recorded. I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill
In the morning.
Woohoo! Back in the saddle. But a rough morning.
I've added, since you didn't care to ask, the 1965 version of Louie Louie by the Sonics, a Tacoma-based garage band proto-punk group.
I'm so happy. This will really complete your collage.
Oh, no. I still have yet to get to see the Dion Celine's version.
Celine Dion, is that what you're saying?
Celine Dion.
Celine Dion, yes, that one.
And also, there's apparently a version by Steve Martin I haven't heard.
Hey, did you see that Steve Martin short?
Yes, I did.
That was pretty good. It
was okay.
I liked it.
It's kind of like two guys on stage.
Yeah.
That weren't really working together that much.
Making a lot of money, thank you, Netflix.
I'm sure they were.
You know how that meeting went. Hey, we want you guys on stage. Here's millions of dollars. Okay.
Let's just do our separate acts and kind of bump into each other.
So we got in late last night due to, thank you, United Airlines, messing it up as usual. And I had a little problem this morning, as we were pretty much OTG for the week, which means, the iPhone has been off, and certainly all the location services, everything was turned off. And I've discovered that unlike the old feature phones, your time does not update if you have the location services turned off in your privacy settings. Meaning I woke up an hour later and didn't realize it until like 8:30, which really cut into my prep time.
Did you ever think of using like a plug-in alarm clock or something that winds up and has a big dial on it and a bell on the top?
I have now. Definitely. And to add insult to injury, we only had decaf in the house. That was rough.
Why did you have decaf at all?
That's like you have it if someone asks for it and it's way in the back of the pantry. Because
I give them a lecture about the residue hexane that may be in decaf.
Well, so not only am I not woke, I'm probably poisoned.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that hexene stuff? What is that?
Well, how did they get the caffeine out of the coffee? There's two ways.
Oh, okay.
One is hexane extraction. I believe they use hexane, and I don't believe that for a minute there's not residual hexane in the leftover coffee.
What is hexane? It doesn't sound
hexane
healthy.
is a gas. It's actually a liquid, a very highly volatile liquid that can be used to flash off certain things. It's done. It's just used to extract if you don't buy your olive oil and these other things, expeller, normal or pressed or expeller extracted, they use hexane a lot of times to give you these cheap oils.
So you can clean like your dentures with it, or is it?
Well, I would say the hexane, I don't know, but I'll tell you this: that if you cook with these oils, it's fine. The hexane gets flashed off in the pan.
Yeah.
But if you use it for salad dressing, you should only use a expeller or a pressed oil for salad dressing, because you don't want this.
You know what? More life-saving tips from your No Agenda show right here, ladies and gentlemen. And then, of course, I haven't touched the production machine for a week, and it says, "Yeah, okay, we're really tired of waiting for you. There's no more way out."
These machines they expect some attention.
Yeah, there's no way out, Curry. It's time for your update, and this was a big one. It took a good hour and a half. That's too long for an update. That makes no sense.
I have no idea how these updates. I'm assuming they have to patch a lot of things within the OS and make sure the OS keeps running. So there's like huge pieces of code that have to be wholesale pulled out and new stuff dropped in and then reattached. It's gotta be
something like that. But forget all that. I want to give you John Charles Dvorak a slow and well-deserved clap. Very, very, very. You played the longest Gambit game ever played on this show.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch it at first. In fact, I thought you were just being a really nice guy.
Uh-huh.
Not that you weren't, but Tina and I both noticed on the previous show, the previous live show, 1037, you said something, and we were both kind of touched by it in a way. I have a clip.
So I got corrected by one of our producers who was snotty and says that now, he says, Fisker did the first, they never used any Fisker ideas at Tesla. They used this Hans character who's still there and was the designer. And I've been looking into it, and I have to now do an interview with Fisker to find out what the story is, because they did part company before the S came out.
Do you think you can do that before Thursday, since we...
No.
Wishful thinking. We're doing a best of on Thursday.
We're doing our last of the thing is that Adam has to do something on Thursday, and we have one Ramsey Kane best of left.
So when both Tina and I heard that, and we talked about it, it was nice, you know. He was like, no, not Adam's going on vacation. He was like, oh, Adam's got to do something. It's really none of your business. Just leave it as be. And I had to go back and I listened to the clip and I heard your brain working, because I know how you are a little bit now after a decade. You had this whole elopement in Vegas planned from the get-go, didn't you? You had the newsletter in your head. I mean, total genius. Cop to it.
A lot of these things just come naturally.
Talent, you mean? Yes, of course. It was so good. And so we're, and I'll tell you a little bit about what we did. And we're on vacation. All of a sudden, we get all these, messages like, "Oh my gosh, congratulations! That's so great. You're eloping. That's great." And then the newsletter comes out with Elvis pictures. I'm like, wow. This is why you donate. You donate to see this genius. It was very, very... I even got a note from one of our AFG producers. The AFG is mill speak for Afghanistan. And he said, I know how this works. You're on your way over here and you didn't want anyone to know you were traveling. I can't wait to see you. I'm like, oh, shit, good idea. And when we go to Afghanistan, I'm sure we probably won't announce it loudly up front. But yeah, that's not what's happening. So just take a bow there for a second, John. That was really good.
Thank you.
That was very, very good. That is the longest you've ever done anything. With the longest time period.
Well, it wasn't like, I don't know. It wasn't as premeditated as you might imagine, but it was an obvious thing to suggest, because in fact, if you had, I actually believed it was a possibility. I wasn't insincere.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know you. You're like, you're, let's go to Vegas and get married by Elvis. I could just see it.
Yeah, I can see. But this girl's a little different. I think she deserves better than Vegas and Elvis in Vegas.
I think she might get a kick out of something like that.
No. But I do want to explain a little bit.
I think you're selling her short there.
No.
Apologize.
No. I do want to explain a little bit. Now, we realized that neither of us had a, on the beach, do absolutely nothing, drink, sit in the sun, vacation for 20 years. And, that's because you got divorces, there's all kinds of stuff that's gone on in our lives. There's tons of travel. And great things we've done, and we've met people all over the world. But there's always been like meetups or families or something going on. Always pretty much a show. We rarely take a show off when we travel. And Tina, being the chief marketing officer of the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Texas, deals with a lot of Central Texas. She works weekends. They have all these donor events. Bryan College Station is within their realm, so she travels there a lot, and this is shitty ass road to go back and forth, and so she's busy. She has all, they don't always get to take holidays at the house because they have to. Someone has to be the house manager, so you choose. You could get Thanksgiving off, but not Christmas Day, and it's all this stuff. So this week came up. It was available for her. I'm like, let's go. And we found there was a new hotel, and I'm not a fan of vacationing in Mexico for just a whole bunch of reasons. You know, one of them being that they seem to roofie people and kill them with their alcohol. So I'm like, I'm not so sure. Anyway, there's a new hotel that opened up in Cabos, San Jose, which is kind of the quiet part of Cabos. And it's the Viceroy. And because they had just opened for a week, but they weren't done with construction, they had these incredible deals. Like, this is fantastic. Let's go here. And there was no one there. The only people really who were there were professional hotel reviewers, you know, walking around wearing high heels and business suits, walking around the pool with a camera. Like, gee, I wonder what you're doing here. Maybe they were working for Yelp. You know, there's a guy, a douchebag with a drone doing aerial photography of the place. And you know, and of course, you also want to have great shots of the hotel. So there was a photographer with models. I'm doing air quotes, models who are all addicted, completely addicted models to their phones, I should say. I observed each one of them had the 45-second phone check, no matter what they were doing, sitting at the pool.
So I just want to mention that ever since you've mentioned this, I've been looking around more and more. Yeah. And yes, women are walking around holding their phone all the time.
Mm-hmm. And then it's about 45 seconds. They'll turn it over. Now, it's much funnier when you're at a resort and, you know, and they're already kind of in model mode. So they're doing selfies everywhere. They'd sit in the pool and twirl around and twirl a little to the left, do the duck lips, and not this one. Like, look, check, pinch, zoom, rotate, delete, new one. I got more on that later. But so we're just enjoying this place. It was, you know, it was basically like a beta test. And I'll give an example. The first night we had dinner. And I said, let's have 2 dirty martinis with 3 olives. Okay, great. And after 5-6 minutes, guy comes back. Mr. Curry, I have very bad news. So what? We can't find the key to the cabinet that has the olives. I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun. So we're just in the sun, sitting, drinking. And because we were so decompressed, there's a lot of things that I learned and came to mind. And maybe I just had some revelations, which I'd like to share with you. So OTG, we didn't take stuff down to the beach. Of course, when we came back, you know, around 3-4 in the afternoon, catch up on a little bit of news. They had satellite / cable, a very strange schedule. We had like Seattle television, local stations, but the news networks were on I don't know how their schedule worked, but you'd get like, you know, Rachel Maddow at midnight. I think I caught Morning Joe once at 6 a.m. And pretty much all you would see is Stephanie Ruhle on MSNBC, and she's very annoying. And then, you know, of course, we caught a Tucker, we watched a little bit of Don, but then the Socialnets. And I check into the face bag, and the minute I hit, and I looked at Twitter, and I'd looked at No Agenda Social, and I'd been just looking at news articles. The minute I hit the face bag on my browser, I don't have the app on my phone anymore, my browser, boom. Right away, I started getting emails in Spanish. So just one after another, they start coming in. Because, you know, the minute you go on Facebag, they're like, even though my location services are turned off, which doesn't allow my clock to reset, but it was enough to tell, you know, all of the affiliated, you know, the companies who have my data through Facebag that I was in Mexico. And so I start getting, Bill Maher would call it spick and spam, I guess. So there's really nothing left for me to look on Facebag anymore, except kind of the No Agenda group. And this place has become so toxic. Mimi can back that up. She was in there. Mimi's always in the Facebag group. Are you still there, John? Are you still alive?
No, I'm gone. She actually said that she's just there to keep tabs on you.
Well, she won't have to do that anymore. because I'm sitting there thinking, I really want to figure this out. Why do these people do this in the No Agenda group? Why do they? It's just horrible things that are being said. Yeah, and a couple things came to mind.
What?
Well, it's irrelevant for the moment, just for the moment. What hit me was social networks develop their own culture. They develop a being, kind of a DNA of their own, and I think it's impossible to change it. If you'll recall Orkut was a Google project. They wanted to put together a social network. I think they bought it, actually.
No. I believe they started it.
It could be they started it, but this is around the time of MySpace, and MySpace was, everyone, oh, MySpace, this is where you got to be. And, of course, MySpace did go. It does happen. These things do go away. And what happened with Orkut, O-R-K-U-T, is it the DNA of that social network became transsexuals in Brazil. And no matter what they tried, short of kicking them off, they couldn't change what that social network was. Whatever became of it, do you know?
I think Google finally shut it down after when they started Google Plus.
Yeah, that's right.
Google Plus sign.
Oh, no, Buzz. I think it was Buzz first. Remember that Google Buzz?
No, but Buzz was not really a competitor. It was, but I know they shut Orkut down during the Google Plus era.
Another fine social network that didn't work because it's odd. You can't really place your finger on it, and you can't really control it. Despite Facebook ad after ad, I keep seeing the same ad. Facebook, it was a place to find friends, and then the fake news came in, and it got all scary. And we at Facebook are going to make your life beautiful again. Have you seen this ad?
Didn't we play it on the show?
We might have. So, I said, I would really like to figure out what's going on with these people, why they're so mad about us. And I said, no, you can't.
You can probably look the ad up under Facebook, and we can play it. It's only 30 seconds.
Okay.
It's a good ad in terms of eye roller.
Let me see. Face bag ad. I should have prepared it for you. I'm sorry. Damn it. Okay, that'll take
with your discussion.
Yeah, that'll take another hour for my machine to unlock. Okay. So but regardless, you can't fix face bag. I mean, you might be able to find out what's going on with some people in one particular group because, but you can't really because it's face bag. There's so much going on. There's so many things that are controlling people's behavior. It's just, it's a weird thing. So I said, I'll do the only thing that I can do. And I deactivated my account.
What?
Yeah, I did.
I thought we were on that account to keep track of your daughter.
No, when she noticed that I had disappeared, she said, finally I can get rid of this face bag. I was only on it for you.
Bullcrap. She said that?
Yes, she did. She's on Instagram, which is still a face bag property, of course. Yeah. But anyway, I didn't delete it because I still want to download everything I have, but it's deactivated, and I do not.
I can quit.
I do not plan on going. I can. I do not plan on going back. But I still. Now remember, I'm relaxed. We're OTG. We're chilling. We're like, let me go see what's going on over there at the Reddit group. Maybe I can learn something there. Now, let me tell you about the Reddit. We have a subreddit, or we don't. There's a subreddit on Reddit. And
it's called the No Agenda Haters.
Yeah, well, not entirely, and I do want to talk about my experience.
No, you're right.
It's
called something else. I'm sorry.
So there's a-holes there for sure, and some people just mean and hateful. But there's also clearly very smart people who are extremely angry about our show since Trump got elected.
Yeah, they're a bunch of irked Hillary supporters.
Well, I have a theory. I've developed a little theory because let me just tell you what happened. So, first of all, I like the challenge of trying to figure out why someone is so incredibly pissed. I do this. We did it with No Agenda forums, which eventually blew up. It always blows up in the end.
Yeah, because it's unhealthy.
You're getting to my point. I'm going to get there. Now, I visualize Reddit itself as kind of like a greasy, slimy slug with barbs sticking out of it. If you want to look at it, you got to be careful. So I poked it a little bit, lifted up its tail, smelled its butt. And I'm like, oh, this is that. What? But really, Reddit, let's be honest, it's just a shitty comment board with like some simulated democracy. You've got mods, you've got super mods, you've got Reddit Gold, upvotes, downvotes. But as a new user, because I registered as Adam Curry 2018, I had no account. You post something and it shows up, but no, that's not how it works. You have to understand with Reddit, it's you enter a form of shadow banning because apparently I was caught in the spam filter, so my posts were showing up for me like a bozo filter, but not showing up for anybody else. So I gave up. I'm like, so what? I didn't know. I mean, people aren't responding. I'll screw you then. I don't care. And then I get a note from a mod, super mod. I don't know what's the difference between a mod and a super mod.
Super mods are the supervisors. They're supervising modifiers or moderators.
Something like that. Oh, no, you need to verify. See, I have to verify. Everyone here is anonymous. I have to verify. You have to tweet me. I'm like, I'm not going to tweet you. I said, hey, how about this? Show 138 is 1 hour and 58 minutes and 30 seconds long, and it hasn't aired yet, and no one knows the length, so that's me. Now it wasn't good enough. Anyway, finally.
Why?
I don't know.
That's good enough?
No, it wasn't good enough. So I followed the super mod. I didn't tweet him. I followed him. He said, you followed me. Okay, I believe it. And what I had posted was, look, I'm happy to answer a couple questions, but unless you can tell me you've donated or you've supported us in the past and now you're all turned off and angry at us, I'm not going to engage with you. So, everyone's all pissed off. Now, as I'm reading through this and interacting, it hit me. So here's what changed in the past 2 years. Not us. The media changed. We were reporting on a media that was fawning over the president. This up his butt. Loved him. Nothing could go wrong. Best thing ever. We've always really reported on the media. Now the media has flipped 180 degrees and hates the president's guts. Yes, it's two different guys, but it's still the president. So this is what changed. Now, what I've come to recognize is that No Agenda is very healthy for a lot of people. They tell us this, they send us, and this is a big reason of why we do the show. I think we could probably make a lot more money doing other projects, doing other things. But at my age, and yours perhaps, it's like, hey, we're doing something good, apparently, because they tell us so.
Yeah,
but
this is true.
For an amount of people, which doesn't seem to be as large as the group that it actually helps them with their health, it has the exact opposite effect and is affecting their health dramatically.
Oh, I believe that. There's no doubt about it.
But I hadn't considered that the same show could hurt people.
The universe needs balance.
Right, but so the people who, for whatever reason, don't like the president or whatever their issue is, I guess that's it. They they say, you've changed. If Melania, if Michelle Obama had tweeted out, if she hadn't been seen, you would have said she's getting her sex change operation. Like, probably. Maybe. But look at what the media is excoriating the first lady this time around. So we respond to the media. That's what we've always done. So suddenly, and I don't think this is
the media changed. We didn't really.
There's nothing that we can do or will do, quite honestly, to make these people happy. And I said, please, impossible. I really, really hope.
Just get lost.
I really hope you stop listening because this is really bad for your health. You must stop listening.
I would agree with that.
So, by the way, just back to your original premise of the elopement. One of the reasons I was very happy to be with the keeper for, a full week, just 24/7, just her and I together, no distractions, no shows, no work, no donor events. I really wanted to figure out what I need. I want to propose to her in a really fantastic way. And it helped because I figured it out. So that was part of the reason. And I'm obviously not going to tell you on the show, but now I know what I'm going to do. We're common law married anyway, according to the state of Texas.
Pretty close to accurate then. I almost nailed it.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, there was a consideration, although it was not pre-planned. It was considered not to go to Vegas. But, it's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to, kneel in the sand in front of the moon. Like, oh, please. I can do better than that. I can do better than that. I know I can do I can do better. I can be
Elvis.
Better. No. It's not going to be Elvis. So that part is you got pretty close. Anyway, I had a number of revelations. It was very, very good for my brain, and I want to thank our dude named Ben producers. It's worth mentioning how incredibly cool our system is. Just take this into consideration. I was thinking, I need to find the clip where John said Adam has something else to do on Thursday. So I know it's in episode 1037, but where we said that, I don't know. So I go to my buddy Clogwog there in Australia, who's been working on the No Agenda transcript project, and he has output. It's pretty, it's still not great because it's just not great. AI hasn't gotten there yet, and I think he's using either Amazon or Google's transcription service. But I was able to search for this, and I found exactly where you said that. It looked like you said it there, and it had a link to the No Agenda player, which is a complete different project from a complete different dude named Ben. Click right into it. It comes out. I mean, this is mind-boggling to me that we have now connected these things with completely disparate projects, all open source, beautiful. And I also, by the way, big shout out to Dave Jones, who created the Freedom Controller, without a doubt, the most awe-inspiring podcast workflow production tool. And I finally figured out how it will be useful for more people than just me. I mean, he's been building this thing for 7 years, like probably hoping, one day, I'll make money off of this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, maybe I have an idea. Maybe the money will. I certainly know how more people will be able to use it.
Well, he could use the money for doing all that work.
Yes, and most of all, coming home last night, I hadn't smoked weed in a week. Boy, this stuff is good for me because the minute I smoked a joint, everything fell into place. I had all these things. I knew exactly. This is actually when I really figured out what you had done. So it's a magical flower, and I'm all for it. And thank you, Ramsey Kane, for collecting some of the great Best of No Agenda bits and us being able to turn that into a best of show for my big unplugged week. And here we are. Now we're at episode 1039 and ready for a new show.
All right. Well, that'll conclude today's show.
Come on.
So do you want me to tell you what happened while you were gone, since you have no idea?
I do know a few ideas. I know that women are angry at other women. They're calling each other the C word. This is apparently really important. Roseanne did something racist. Okay. Blamed it on Ambien. The funniest line of all, of course, when Sanofi tweeted to her saying, yes, racism is not one of the side effects, which, of course, was the stupidest thing they could ever do, because now everybody's talking about the actual side effects of Ambien. What an idiot.
Sleepwalking and doing stuff like Roseanne did.
Yeah, and buying stuff on Amazon without you realizing it in the middle of the night. We've had lots of people tell us what goes on.
What a weird side effect.
So how dumb are those guys? Like, geez, get it together.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about Roseanne, because I think that I have some thoughts on this.
Oh, you think it's worth discussing, really?
Yeah, I do, and I think that I'll tell you why. Because I think a lot of it is a lot of it's being glossed over. I mean, the real hatred of Trump, well, I just put it that way, by ABC, was borne out. And I want to mention something before they go on. Well, we really like to have the show. I have two clips. I don't have a lot. I have two clips. But let's start with this discussion. The Roseanne, this was on I believe this was on NewsHour, and they're talking about some of the details. This was the first number one show ABC has had for over 20 years.
Is racist. There's no mincing around that. What she said was offensive and apparently was something that people at Disney and ABC could not excuse in any way.
But what's so shocking is this was the biggest show they had. They were just touting it at the upfront weeks ago. Could there have been any other path than the one they chose today in terms of canceling the show?
I think when you have the number one show on TV, the internal conversation at some point has to involve someone saying to someone else, can we keep the number one show on TV? Apparently there was no way out for them as far as they could tell. But this is something that has been a huge bragging right for ABC. Roseanne introduced Disney ABC executive Ben Sherwood at the company's upfront presentation 2 weeks ago. They bragged that this was the first time in 24 years that ABC had the number one show on television. They bragged about the ratings for the premiere, which were something just otherworldly compared to what we see in broadcast these days. So you have to imagine that this was really the outcome of last resort for ABC.
But could there have been any way for them to continue this show without Roseanne and keep a good thing going?
Creatively, that probably would have been really difficult. You would have had to have gotten stars John Goodman and Sarah Gilbert, as well as Laurie Metcalf and the rest of the cast to sign off.
Okay.
I want to, a couple of things. I was thinking about this, and they did have the number one show, and it's rare for ABC to do that. They're traditionally the number 3 network, even though they're number 2. Nowadays, because NBC's so bad.
Can I give you my quick 2 thoughts, because it may tie into, it's all I have. 1,
yes, please.
They did not want to deal with advertiser fallout, possibly. 2, they had a complete shit movie come out, and I think that they probably were happy in a perverted way that, you know, the distraction of this over, hey, your movie kind of failed for what you put into it. This is the Star Wars movie.
Yes, Solo.
Yeah.
I think there's an element of that, but I think generally speaking, ABC wanted to have nothing to do with this whole market. They don't like the Republicans. They don't like the public that likes Roseanne. And I believe. And
wait, they're buying Fox, including Fox Television, Fox News.
I believe Fox News is going to be stuck with the Murdochs.
Oh, okay.
But let me just finish.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Hollywood thing. You're going to Hollywood. Why are you putting this Roseanne show on? Don't you know it's counterproductive? This is not helping what we're trying to do, which is impeach Trump. Why are you guys doing this? And I believe the peer group pressure, despite the fact it's the number one show and it makes money for the shareholders, the peer group pressure forced them to do this. And the reason I say that is because of the Tim Allen show,
right,
which is overlooked in the discussion.
Yep.
Tim Allen had a profitable show on ABC, and for no apparent reason,
yeah, you're right,
they took it off the air because it was, again, a Republican, Trump-oriented show. It was no different than Roseanne's audience.
Right. So the hatred is so vast, so deep, so it's deeply ingrained in their DNA.
These executives don't care about the shareholders, which they should. They only care about what the reaction is amongst their peers, which is the Rob Reiner, and I said Carl once, by the way, Rob Reiner reaction, which is, why are you doing this? Why are you putting a show like this on? You know this guy Trump is a terrible person. He likes to grab pussies. You can't put a show like this on there. Can't you find a way to get this off the air? But it's our number one show for the last 24 years. We haven't had a number one show. What difference does it make? Is that all it's about? Is just you want a number one show, and so you're going to sacrifice your
our
ideals?
Our democracy.
Yeah, you're going to ruin our democracy with this stupid show? And so off it goes, because they had an out. Then the out was this, and it would have worked. You want to keep this show on the air? You suspend Roseanne for 6 months without pay.
Yeah, that would have worked.
It would have worked.
Yeah, that would have. But the hatred goes beyond that. It goes beyond the shareholders and the money.
There's no way they're going to even consider that. This was their out. This was their exit strategy. They were getting grief by the peers in Hollywood. They were getting grief by everybody that works there. In fact, when you hear the long report, which is on ABC, where they discuss some of this, the crew and the staff, except for John Goodman, seemed to have turned on Roseanne by tweeting very nasty things about her.
Yeah.
And the whole operation was a renegade group they didn't want. And so
I think you're spot on with that. I have nothing to argue against it. And even nuttier, just one of if it's really true, the rumors that they're now trying to reboot the show around Sarah Gilbert. I mean, are you insane? Do you know nothing about how television works? That's not going to fly.
No, it's not going to fly. But at least they can say they tried to do something instead of what they could have done, which was put the show on hiatus and suspend Roseanne for 6 months. Oh, poor Roseanne, because she's just one tweet. I mean, God. But it's okay. So they could have saved the show, but they did not want to save this show. And Sarah Gilbert is an anti-Trumper, and she'd be just fine doing a show. But let's listen to the long report. This is too long. You have to break it up here and there. This is from ABC, the network that did it. It's got a lot of nasty little stuff in there. And this was the report that they gave us.
And we begin with the firestorm surrounding Roseanne Barr and her racist tweet. The comedian firing back on Twitter today, blaming her words on Ambien. The maker of Ambien was not having it. And there were other tweets. The actress, whose show has now been canceled by ABC, taking aim at some of her co-stars who called her words reprehensible. Tonight, what the president is now tweeting in the wake of the Roseanne uproar, and the White House was pressed on why, in his own tweet, the president did not address what Roseanne said. ABC's Matt Gutman leading us off again tonight.
Fewer than 24 hours after Roseanne Barr's racist tweet that led to her show being canceled.
What's up, deplorable?
Comparing President Obama's former top aide to an ape, Roseanne was back on Twitter, now blaming that tweet on a sleeping pill. It was 2 a.m. and I was Ambien tweeting. I went too far. Tonight, the maker of Ambien firing back. While all pharmaceutical treatments have side effects, racism is not a known side effect.
Have we actually discussed the side effects of Ambien recently?
Not recently, but we have discussed them. It's sleepwalking, is every imaginable horror.
It's more than that. It's I have it here. It is rapid heartbeat, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, loss of appetite, impaired vision, slow breathing rates, muscle cramps, allergic reactions, memory loss, inability to concentrate, disorientation, emotional blunting. What is that? Emotional blunting? Depression and or suicidal thoughts, anxiety, insomnia. That's interesting. The side effect of Ambien is insomnia. Okay, great drug. Nightmares, sedation, confusion, dizziness, aggression, addiction, and withdrawal, which can be life-threatening. Yeah, I'm not saying that this is... I don't even know if she was on Ambien. But, come on, Ambien is not a good product.
It's not a product you want to take.
But today, even after trying to blame Ambien...
After my nighttime meds kick in, I'm legally dead till 7 a.m.
Roseanne then retweeting images of characters from Planet of the Apes with Valerie Jarrett's image next to them. Tonight, President Trump, who celebrated Roseanne before...
Even look at Roseanne. I called her yesterday. Look at her ratings. Look at her ratings.
Has so far not condemned her racist words. Instead, the president tweeting about Disney CEO Bob Iger, the head of ABC's parent company, after Iger called Jarrett personally to apologize for Roseanne's racist tweet. And this morning, the president tweeting, he never called President Donald J. Trump to apologize for the horrible statements made and said about me on ABC. Maybe I just didn't get the call. Ignoring Roseanne's words completely, and when pressed on this today, the White House at first complained of a double standard before eventually saying no one is defending Roseanne.
The president simply calling out the media bias. No one's defending what she said.
Roseanne firing off more than 200 tweets since losing her show and vowing to leave Twitter.
Another side effect of her Ambien haze was that she said, I'm going to go on Joe Rogan's podcast. Yeah, until she woke up, then canceled on him.
Said
Roseanne firing off.
Wait, before you go on. So I just got the biggest kick out of Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, one of the largest corporations in the world, personally calling Valerie Jarrett to apologize. What is he?
Well, first of all, she's on his speed dial, so that's not a big deal.
Well, that's beside the point. But does he have to apologize for? I'm wondering, I'm asking you, what does Bob Iger have to apologize for?
He wants to stay in good graces of Jared and Obama, who is, Obama is going to be an important show business guy with his new Barry and Mike production company. So, yeah, I don't know. It's more virtue signaling. He didn't even call her. Just say I called her.
Yeah, well, that could be.
And I don't know if you saw the next day. I have no clips from it, but MSNBC had a live forum, and on the panel, Al Sharpton, Valerie Jarrett. Who else was on the panel? It was just all hate against white people. And Valerie Jarrett said, I take this as a learning moment. Okay, fine. Anyway, we continue.
Of more than 200 tweets since losing her show and vowing to leave Twitter, even turning on some of her co-stars. Writing to actor Michael Fishman, who called her tweet reprehensible, "You throw me under the bus." Nice. And to Sarah Gilbert, who called the comment abhorrent. She replied, "Wow, unreal."
She's been all over the map with it. I wish she had just said, "I'm sorry," or Valerie Jarrett said, that this could be a learning moment.
And tonight, the executive producer of the show, David Kaplan, telling The Hollywood Reporter he and the writers had just returned to work on the next season. It was their first day back. Stunned by Roseanne's tweet, and now many of them out of a job. Even so,
this is another great one. Oh, a show got canceled in Hollywood. Everyone's out of a job. Where was everyone complaining about Alan's show? Everyone out of a job. I didn't hear that. Did you?
No, I never heard anything. It was just kept very quiet.
And as an aside, Roseanne is a moron. You're stupid if you do these things.
Their reaction, Kaplan,
and possibly a racist,
said the reaction was universal disgust, adding, "We were horrified by it, and we also knew what it meant for the show. When it came to racism, there was no longer any way to accept what she was saying." Tonight, Roseanne saying, "I feel bad for POTUS. He goes through this every single day." And even today, as she retweeted that Planet of the Apes image next to Valerie Jarrett, Roseanne Barr still insisting she's no bigot. "I'm not a racist. I never was, and I never will be."
Yeah. It would have been smarter if she said Valerie Jarrett is a lizard. There would be no calls. There would be no calls back and forth. It's like, oh, shit, no. They're on to us.
Yeah, you got to stick with the lizard.
Lizard.
Which is a possibility.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. But, then it got conflated with Samantha Bee and...
Samantha Bee. Yeah, the Samantha Bee thing was I thought it was... to me, it's like... I actually had a clip of it because I finally found one that wasn't censored. And I said, it's not even interesting.
No, but it became like this comparison all of a sudden. It's like, what? And then in the meantime, you've got Joy Reid, who demonstrably and now admittedly has tweeted or posted incredibly racist things, homophobic, conspiratorial.
They started bringing this stuff out of her being a homophobe, and then you start reading some of the other stuff. She seems like a right winger in sheep's clothing.
I was going to say, but reading she liked 9/11 change. Alex Jones.
She was a truther.
Yeah. Hey,
she liked Alex Jones.
If she gets kicked out at MSNBC and one of us dies, she's in. I mean, she could be on this show easily.
Thinking, wow, what a faker she must be.
And
this is what happened with Ed Schultz. When Ed Schultz was on MSNBC, he was a Republican hater. He went through these screeds that were just phenomenal. Yeah. And then he goes to RT, and the next thing you know, he's an Obama critic.
And the thing is that with this hate, and it's the same that's in the Slimy Slug Reddit group. The hate comes out with curse words. It comes like Keith Olbermann, I guess, has been rehired at ESPN, and he's just tweeting MF this, MF that, you MF that, you MF this, and Samantha, and I didn't clip anything either, but she also insinuated that there's incest between Ivanka and Trump and her father.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is like, wow, and so it comes out with these words which. The "see you next Tuesday," which is just something a man doesn't say to a woman, but women don't like it when they say it to each other either. And that's in the U.S. because in the UK, it's like they say that to each other. People use the C word all the time. So, words have different meanings in different contexts in different countries. But don't say bloody in the UK. They'd lose their shit if you say that. So it's just a word, so I really don't care. But the whole thing is just, it wasn't funny. Where was the humor in it? And maybe it's just not my humor. Maybe other people think it's hilarious that she said that. It's possible.
Well, sarcastic,
but that's
liberal humor.
Well, political humor is always going to piss somebody off, doesn't it? Isn't that kind of how it works?
Well, especially, yes. It's always done that.
Yeah, and us being a comedy show, we know you're never going to make everybody happy.
But anyway, the whole thing was a charade as far as I'm concerned, with the Roseanne getting ousted when they could have saved the show. But they definitely did not want that show. They were embarrassed by it. And they were probably really even more embarrassed by the ratings it got, because it was telling them, I mean, if you're a programmer, and you're seeing this ratings on this kind of right wing, it's not even that right wing, it's pretty middle of the road show that was about white middle class getting all this attention, when you're doing all this alternative stuff, it's never coming in first or second even.
Right.
But you got, the Modern Family, you got the gay couple, they've stereotyped, which I think is offensive, by the way.
Yeah.
And they have all these other kinds of crazy shows, Off the Boat, Blackish. They're funny.
Well, but Blackish is to me, it's hilarious.
It's a very funny show, very well written. It's got some good people working there, but these are okay. But this other show it was making them look like they were idiots, because they could have done more stuff like this, and they did have Tim Allen, and they got rid of him. So they're not even interested in ratings. They're interested in virtue signaling with these shows.
Yeah, above the shareholders, above income, above pure profit. That's an interesting way to run a business. And Facebag is doing the same thing. Facebag is going to run into exactly the same trouble. At
some point, people start to walk away.
Here, I have this one. Hold on.
Facebook holds a much-anticipated shareholders meeting on Thursday, an annual event that normally lionizes boss Mark Zuckerberg. But this year, 6 shareholder proposals could wrest control from Zuckerberg. The proposals include one share, one vote, the setting up of an oversight committee, and a report on how Facebook is tackling gender inequality. Facebook opposes all 6 proposals.
That's going to be fun. I like the one share, one vote. That's a problem.
Which is the way it should be.
Yeah, because you have no control as a shareholder. You can't even organize because of
Google came up with this crazy version of the shareholdership, which gives you 0 votes. Essentially, it's useless. And but you don't even share in profits because they don't have dividends. So you're making you might as well be at the crap table. Hopefully, the price of the stock keeps going up, because that's the only thing supporting.
Well, it seems to be. It seems to be doing okay.
Although, it is,
although reports everywhere that millennials are leaving the Facebag, that it's 57 plus. Now, I looked up the numbers, and it's not easy to extract, but somewhere between 10 and 23% of Facebag's overall revenue comes from Instagram. But that was a very smart acquisition. And I think Instagram is also a much happier place. It's complete mind control, but it's a much happier place because there's not a lot of discourse in the comments. It's just, look at me, I'm so great. Look at my food, it's lovely. Look at my dog, it's beautiful.
Right, there's a single line of commentary.
Pretty much, yeah.
There's not a lot of back and forth that goes on, because once you make your post about the picture, you're done. You don't go back.
But it's pretty telling if even me, if I can't leave the Facebag because there's no value, not even enough value for the show. That's telling. Like I left the Apple platform. I think I'm just one guy, but I think I identify trends reasonably well. And
I don't think you're identifying trends. I think you're creating them.
There was one other thing that I caught, which was just funny to me. Again, showing the complete hatred and vitriol. I told you earlier that on one of the few things I kept seeing when we watched anything on the TV on vacation was Stephanie Ruhle, and she is this really
I have to look at her. I'm going to have to go look her up on the.
Yes. Are you?
Because I don't. Bing it. Her face doesn't come to mind. I don't think I've ever seen her.
Yeah, Bing it. RUHL. Stephanie Ruhle. And she's just so annoying. Everything that comes out of her mouth is hate. And there was a jobs report that came out that, although you and I always say, yeah, great, unemployment 3.8% because, I guess another 0.2% became bums and are no longer counted. Let's see the U6 numbers change. Let's see. I think that, did I hear you say on DH Unplugged that they had gotten somewhat better, the actual participation rate numbers?
Yeah, they should have. Yeah, I think so.
All right. Did you find Stephanie?
Well, you're noticing this with the Shadow Stats numbers are actually improving.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at this woman's picture. I don't know that I've ever seen her, ever.
Well, you're not missing much.
Well, that may be true. She must be on some odd hour.
Yeah, she's on after Morning Joe.
Oh, so that's too. I wouldn't. No. I'm not going to start my day off looking at MSNBC.
Well, I do this. I do this. This is my beat. It's my beat. It's called
weight loss mechanism.
It's called job. It's what I do. It's what I do for the show. So anyway, we have a jobs number, which I think the New York Times said we're out of words how good this report is. And okay, I didn't. Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds like double what we would expect. I think 150,000 is what you need to really to stay even, stay ahead of the game. So not even double, but it was a good report. And here is her response.
I completely understand why the economy is a win for the president. But to send this tweet out 1 hour before it becomes public, the lockup around this number couldn't be taken more seriously in Washington and Wall Street.
So the security around these numbers is incredible. Where Eamon just was in the lockup, I've been there before. I've been there with Eamon before. They take away your cell phone. They put you in a room. You're allowed to look at the numbers. You don't have any access to the internet. If I were to, before 8:30, text my wife and say the job numbers look good, I think I'm going to be home late, I would never work in financial journalism again. These numbers are so tightly guarded because it's not just the top line number. It's all of this detail about different industries that are tradable. And if you can get that information early, of course, then you can make a decision in financial markets.
Traditionally, the president gets that number the night before.
That's exactly
right. But we've never seen a president make any comment. I reached out to the SEC this morning saying, hey, boys and girls, you care about this. And they're declining to comment. This is quite a big deal. I mean, at 7:21, right after he put the tweet out, we didn't see any price action change, but we saw volume change. So to people at home going, oh, who cares? The president is excited about it. He wanted people to look ahead. I understand that sentiment. But the president is also taking action that could impact trading. Millions, possibly billions of dollars.
Now, of course.
It didn't change any prices, as she noted.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish the sequence. I know what you want to say, probably. This was all over the news. Here's CNN's John King.
It's not. I get Larry Kudlow works for the president. Larry Kudlow worked for another president pre-Twitter, Ronald Reagan. Go back and look. He says it's routine. I dare you. Go back and look. Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama. Find a president of the United States talking about, tweeting about, communicating about the unemployment report before it came out. I dare you.
Okay. Dare accepted. President Barack Obama.
126,000. Tomorrow, we're expecting another dismal jobs report on top of the 2.6 million jobs that we lost last year.
I'm sorry. That sounds like he just explained the jobs numbers in a press conference before the jobs numbers.
That's what it sounds like to me. In fact, he was very specific. Trump was non-specific. He just said, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we obviously, it was telegraphing. Let's not bullshit about that.
Well, I mean, it's true. I think you can say that, but it wasn't technically as bad as what Obama did. No. But they will not bring that up. Obama had real numbers. He said some actual numbers.
Yeah, he had actual, but and this was a different situation because it was the Great Recession, the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. But he did communicate the numbers. So don't tell me that he didn't.
I'm sure you can find it with these other guys, too.
Probably.
These guys are just on these shows lying through their teeth.
Yeah. Hey, what is this? What are these why do you have, John, why did you bring Fleetwood Mac clips to the show?
I'll tell you what, I'll play the Fleetwood Mac, but I do have a Jobs clip, too.
All right. Oh.
That's why I was going to say.
I'm sorry. Okay. Yep.
because there's a word there that says jobs.
Where's jobs?
This was the PBS NewsHour take of this thing, and I thought it was pretty objective.
A remarkable moment. Neil, I want to turn to some, controversy today. The president himself tweeted this morning at 7:21 a.m. This was a little more than an hour before these numbers came out. And I'm going to quote, he said, looking forward to seeing the employment numbers at 8:30 this morning. This has caused quite a stir among economists. Why?
Yeah, so these numbers, it takes weeks to prepare them, but they're kept under lock and key. It's a very sensitive thing because they move markets. The dollar, the bond market, the stock market all swing dramatically when these numbers are released. So they're kept very confidential, locked doors, not spread widely. The president does get a chance to learn about them the evening before. The problem is if this becomes routine, if the president kind of tips his hand or hints about what's to come, it could be very destabilizing to markets. And the idea that there wouldn't be this kind of predictable 8:30 a.m. at exactly everybody gets the numbers at the same time, knows exactly how to interpret them. We want that predictability, especially if we find ourselves in a crisis or recession when these numbers really markets turn on every decimal point.
Diane, there are even some critics out there who are saying the president broke the law when he did this. So what is the rule?
Wait, is there a law? Is there an actual law? I don't think there's a law. Is there a law?
No, that I know of. They just, it's just an SEC rule about one thing or another. He can say whatever he wants. He could get the things the night before and announce it himself if he wanted to.
He can pardon Martha Stewart. Yeah. Guy's got some power.
About time somebody did.
Critics out there who are saying the president broke the law when he did this. So what is the rule?
Well, the rule is that we don't see any government agencies talk about the numbers at all an hour around the numbers. And I think that's really important is because I work with the National Association for Business Economics, the Statistics Committee. I work with these institutions. And part of the reason for keeping that sort of time frame out there, not having advanced information, all the reasons that Neil suggested are absolutely true, but also very important is the integrity and credibility of the data. The data gets politicized once it comes out. There's just, no matter who's going to be running. If it's a bad number, people are running against that person. They're going to talk about the bad number. If it's a good number, they're going to tout it's a good number and take credit for it. It gets politicized. But to feed this idea that the data is somehow influenced by an administration, any administration, is something you want to really stay away from. So the credibility and integrity of the data and the institutions that produce it are also coming under question when this is done. And I think that's incredibly important because we already see all these conspiracy theories. And I'll tell you, I spent a lot of time with these statisticians. Right. You got to drink when you're with them because they're really that nerdy.
Yeah. All right. I do have some statistician stuff for later. But
okay. Now you're talking about
Fleetwood Mac.
Clips.
Yeah.
Okay. Now Fleetwood Mac was a special put on the PBS, our local KQED, and I've noticed this for a while. They do these, donation drives.
Yeah.
And they use these stooges, and because if you go to Seattle and watch their station, there's the same people, and they're always referring to the number at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah.
And what bugs me, and I'm going to play a couple of clips. There's a couple of things. There's a bunch of things that bug me about this thing, so I clipped 3 little clips. But play the first one, Fleetwood Mac 1. Now,
I was thrilled, just as I'm sure you are, remembering the feelings you had. You remember the music, but more importantly, you remember the passion each member brings to the songs. I think one of the things that makes the band so popular is that you can relate to them as people.
Well, that is so true, and I think even to this day, they are just like all of us. Each song has a story for the band and maybe also for you. Maybe it's your personal experience of lost love, or maybe the struggle of a problem, as Lindsey Buckingham reveals during Little Demons, which is coming up later in the program. Whatever your connection, it's real and it's genuine.
And the other thing that's real and genuine is the fact that part of the mission of this station is to showcase your favorite artists or performers. Know that it is your generous support over the years that makes all of this possible.
Well, if you've already made that call or click of support, or if you've already become a sustaining contributor, we can't thank you enough. Now, if not, it's not too late to join this celebration. You do that by going online or calling the number at the bottom of the screen. Do it now. Remember, the programs you count on really do count on you for support.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm extremely annoyed by the number at the bottom of the screen bit. And I'll tell you why. In fact, before I tell you why, let's play the second part of this clip where the head honcho woman of PBS comes on and has a pitch. And she has a new term, by the way, for donors who subscribe, which are sustainers. They made it a new word.
Instead of sustaining donation, it's sustainers?
Yeah, sustainers. You're a sustainer.
And before we play it, I will agree that whenever I hear Fleetwood Mac, it also reminds me of my cocaine-fueled heyday. I mean, yes, they're real people. Reminds me of that.
I was backstage with that group once.
Oh, how was that?
It was very uncomfortable. I mean, a couple of guys were talking. Luckily, this was the version of the band that had Dave Mason.
Uh-huh.
And I was a big Dave Mason fan because sometime in the late 60s, he did a solo album that I thought was pretty dynamite. But it was like these, it's like being with a bunch of strange. These are not like you and me.
When Mick Fleetwood had brought the band back together briefly in the almost mid 80s, and it was without Lindsey Buckingham,
Lindsey Buckingham was here.
No, maybe Christine McVie, wasn't it?
But I quit too.
But I remember talking to Mick Fleetwood, doing an interview. I had two big gaffes in my career. This was the Fleetwood Mac one, where I said, "So, Lindsey Buckingham, is she going to be on the tour this year?" So, the other gaffe, just while we're on it, the other gaffe was when I was interviewing Jermaine Jackson, who had a song with Pia Sedora, "When the Rain Begins to Fall," from some movie soundtrack. And of course I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Jackson." It's one of those cringe-worthy moments when you do that. All right, your second clip.
Hello, I'm Paula Kerger, president of PBS. Thanks to your support, this station is able to present stimulating science shows, award-winning children's programs, sweeping drama, and groundbreaking documentaries. To become a sustainer, all you have to do is make a self-renewing gift of $5, $10, $20 a month or more.
I like self-renewing, too. I think that's a pretty cool term.
We've tried to make it as convenient as possible. You can make the contribution from your checking account, or you can use your credit card. Becoming a sustainer will help your station ensure that the programs you love will be there for you and your community, now and in the future. Please become a sustainer by visiting your station's secure website or by calling the number on your screen. Thank you.
I'm just getting in from the troll room that PBS has a Sustainer Learning Center website.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Sustainer?
pbs.org/sustainer/home.
They're going with this term,
Sustainer.
obviously.
Sustainer.
Here's what bothers me about these things in particular. Have you ever watched like the evening news on your local station in Austin or anywhere? You have a cut to Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, who they usually throw it to him from the news. Hey, Jimmy, who's going to be on the show tonight? Hey, Bill. Yeah. They actually know who they're talking to.
It's called a promo.
It's a promo. Hey, Bill, we're going to have so-and-so and so-and-so. And well, back to you at the news.
Yeah, we're here, we're rehearsing, we're getting ready in Studio 15, and we can't wait to have Miley Cyrus on again. Yes, back to you.
It takes then just a little 10-second hit. They do it for 100 or 200 stations as part of the whole routine. Yeah. It's not like, something crazy. These people cannot even do that much. They will put so little effort out that they will not. That woman from PBS could have easily been cut a special segment mentioning it's KQED or KCED, whatever
localize
station it is.
A little bit, yeah.
There's no localization whatsoever because it's too much work. These people are also rolling in dough. Not that I'm going to just say that, but it's just, I find it offensive that they look at the number at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah.
And whatever that stupid number is used at, and give money to whoever it is you're giving it to. We don't know.
Right.
Anyway, I just found it extremely annoying.
Well, that's because it has to, obviously, because it has to go through the local affiliate, so the local affiliate gets credit for it. But yeah, I mean, it's low rent operation.
It could have been. What does it take to make a special 10-second thing?
I agree. In particular,
if they do it on Fallon, they can do it anywhere.
And if you have all this money to create all these groundbreaking documentaries, and what was the other term about dramas? Sweeping dramas. Sweeping dramas.
That's right.
Sweeping dramas. Yeah.
Then it's about those cleaning women.
Yeah. Do you have $10 to do a live cut-in for your local station? I agree with you.
Well, here's the bonus in this. I'm not sure what this is about.
We're about to go back to this incredible concert in just a moment. But in case you aren't familiar with the way PBS works, this station is supported in large part by you and people all across your community. And those contributions are what keep these shows on the air. So if you're liking this show, perhaps you're loving it, make a contribution now.
Wow. Write these things down, John. If you're liking this show, perhaps you're loving it, baby. Yeah.
Perhaps you're loving it. Make a contribution now. It's an amazing partnership that's worked since day one, and we would love to have you do your part to keep...
What, worked since day one? How about the actual commercials you play? They play commercials on PBS.
Yeah, I know they do.
It's worked since day one. It's not working that well, no.
Since day one, and we would love to have you do your part to keep that partnership going. Concerts like this one would simply not be possible without the ongoing support from the viewers like you. It breaks down to just pennies a day, but it adds up to a lifetime of learning, education, and entertainment for everyone in our community. Thank you.
Bonnie, I think of Fleetwood Mac, and I immediately think of PBS, and every one of you who have been with us for a number of years, you are keeping the music history alive by watching and supporting this PBS station.
And you think about all of you out there who never heard of Fleetwood Mac until you are watching this show. And we want you to know that you can make the difference. Go online or call the number on your screen right now.
Now I want to say one last thing.
I love
PBS, especially our local station, eschewed, using that word, all rock and roll until just a few years ago. I mean, it was like during the 60s and 70s when there was like a local revolution in San Francisco of bands like Jefferson Airplane and Grateful Dead and all these groups.
Just didn't, they paid no attention to it.
They refused to play this stuff because it was beneath them, because they only played classical stuff. So this is nonsense. I'm sickened by it.
Well, of course, this always they use this. They cut these deals, pure commercial deals, because what they're doing is promoting Fleetwood Mac's tour. And Fleetwood Mac is touring, and so they cut a deal, and the deal is we'll give you all this promotion. We're going to buy, and I don't know if they still do it with the DVDs.
They have DVDs, yes.
Yeah, it's not like Fleetwood Mac gets paid when this plays on PBS. I mean, there's royalties, there's public rights, and there's performing rights. There's all kinds of money coming in. So it's a commercial deal, which is fine. Typically, though, they usually get someone from the band in to talk about it. You didn't see any of that? Was there no
the band
none
never
of that,
had a band guy come in. They're too stoned.
Good catch. Good catch. And I think we have learned something. I certainly want to use the sustainer. And remember, if you like the show, you just might love it. And a great time now to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, John C. C stands for see you next Tuesday, Dvorak.
And the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. Also in the morning, all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
Yes, in the morning to the Troll Room at noagendastream.com. They're doing a great job there. Good to see most of you there. Also, in the morning to Tungsten Tom. Now, I went back because we prepped for the Best Of show. We did what are called wraparounds that we do at the beginning, the middle, and the end of a Best Of show. And I found a piece of artwork which was in the Evergreen section. The number, I mean, we're up to 11,000 pieces of art now. I think 11,300 something.
That's a lot.
This was in the, I think this was in the 300s. 300s. This is how old
we dig
is
around
it?
Sometimes we'll look for stuff in the past because there's gold. It's gold. It's mining.
Yes. And we're not talking Reddit gold, people. We're talking real gold. And we appreciate that, Tungsten Tom, if he's still a listener, as well as all of the artists who contribute to our album art. It is one of the great differences, the great differentiators of the No Agenda show, is we have fresh album artwork for every single episode. If you like No Agenda, you'll love it for the artwork.
If you like it.
I'm working. I'm practicing.
Yeah, keep that in. That's yours now.
NoAgendaArtGenerator.com. Our value model works a little differently. We just tell you, hey, Did you like anything you heard? Did you get any value? Did it make you feel good? Did you learn something? Yeah, put a value on it, send it to us. And that's what people do. And we appreciate that. And anyone over 200 it becomes an automatic associate executive producer. Over 300 per episode, automatic executive producer. Just like Hollywood, we'd like to thank them in a separate segment more at the beginning of the show. And that's where we are now.
We also, this is going to be a little long today because this is for two shows.
2 shows, right. The best of, again, and thank you, Ramsey Kane.
To show 38 and 39, I believe.
Yeah, yes, 38 and 39. Correct.
So let's thank these people one after the other, starting with Dave Fugazotto in Gladstone, Missouri, 38338. He'll be an executive producer. It says, my apologies for being confused on the 1037 donation day. I am, of course, a solid 38er and want you both to keep casting. Now, of course, we still have the ongoing 38-cent thing where you put 38 cents at the end of a donation. It means you like the show. 37 cents means
well,
you don't like
not just
the show.
It's like you want it to mention you think
you
it's not past its usefulness.
Yeah, the question was, is it past its usefulness? So I want to have to mention 2 things. One, comic strip blogger sent me a DM saying, hey, people aren't going to donate and add 37 cents to say the show sucks because they already don't like the show. They're not going to give you any money. You guys are self-selecting. and so I said, well, thanks for pointing out the obvious. Yeah, and I said, duh, which I think irked him. But yes, duh. Yeah, we're not going to get a lot of, we're not definitely going to get no $1,000.37 donations.
But what it does is it does open up a conversation, and people tell us why they like it, and we've gotten a lot of notes of people who think things could be better or different, and some hate mail. Got some of that.
Mail.
Got some hate mail. Yeah,
not a lot, but we get some.
It was useful.
Yeah, and I don't have the totals. I'll bring them up on the Thursday show or Thursday. My apologies for being confused. I want you both keep casting your pod until episode 333.
Yeah, right. Right.
I predict you will be simultaneously struck by falling pieces of that Tesla they shot into space a few months ago, permanently terminating the show. Neither of you will feel any pain, and we producers will don black armbands for the ritual year of mourning and then move on with our lives, or something like that. Required some goat karma and a shout out for my wife and my birthday, hers a week ago, my 50th a few days ago, and a chef's choice out of Reverend Manning. Thanks for all you do. Truly, you two, and not NPR, speak of the devil, are our beloved national treasure.
Okay, let's get a Manning. Sorry, I wasn't quite prepared for the Manning. What do we have? I'm just grabbing a random one.
With their tight T-shirts and their short pants.
All right.
You've got karma.
I'll put a Manning at the end.
Okay, onward. Sorry, I had to find a note. Stephen Janosic in Temple Terrace, Florida, 36363. Oh, by the way, then the second guy who wrote in, who anonymous, as though we were insulting him, he says, hey, I read the note, or I read the email over again. It said add 37 cents as opposed to just putting .37 at the end of the donation, which is what I meant.
Oh, because he came up with a whole different number and he just added.
Yeah, because he wanted to donate double nickels on the dime, so it would be 55.47.
All right, well.
And so we're supposed, but then we can't extract all these numbers because maybe he wanted to donate 55.12 and then add 37 is 30. I don't know. So it would, and he's adamant about this.
Yeah,
this guy.
Well, he's ant fucking on the numbers. I got to hand it to him.
There you go. What's that in Dutch?
Miereneuken.
Yeah. My wife would like some
Wait. He starts off with, you can't read it on the spreadsheet, but he's saying para mañana. That's what he's saying.
Para mañana.
Ah, okay. I couldn't read it because it's a mess.
Yeah.
My wife would like some folks hitting the mouth for her birthday. Do you have her on the birthday list?
No.
Well, Well, the birthday of whoever she is, Mrs. Janisic. Hopefully she goes with that.
I will put her on.
Here's some coin to make that happen. Can you also humor us with, if you see something, say something, I love bugs, shut up, slave, and a goat scream?
You know, I have I think I have a new see something, say something. Where was that? Maybe it was this one. Let me see.
If you see something, say something.
No. Damn it. It was there was a new one just recently. See something. I think maybe it was a Chris Wilson thing.
Well, moving right along.
Yeah, here's the...
I love bugs. Bugs. Tastes like poop.
Shut up, slave. You've got karma.
There's so many variations on shut up, slave. Sir Colin Sloman, $333.38. Again, Great Britain. I'm very happy to upvote the show, which remains the best podcast in the universe. Title change for me, as I am now living it up in the desert of Saudi Arabia, I guess, and would like to change my title to Baronet Horatio of Arabia.
Okay. Of Arabia, nice.
48 degrees C as we speak.
Woo! That's warmer than Austin.
120?
It's up there.
The donation takes me over the threshold for Baronet, and I'm delighted to keep supporting the show from the beginning.
Excellent. We will do that later on.
Give us a report.
Yeah.
Rory, little movies are cool if you can get them, shoot them without somebody stopping you. Rory Bushka in Novi, Michigan, 33333. Dear John and Adam, after waiting with anticipation for months, I have finally the chance to donate the amount of $333.33 in honor of my 33rd birthday, which serendipitously falls on the show day, May 31st. Consider May 31st. This was okay. You just missed it because that was
close.
I consider changing the 033 at the end to amount to 38 to indicate the show is still incredibly valuable to me per your recent donation poll, but the power of 33 compels me to stick to the script. I'm still not a knight, but this contribution should encourage and inspire the most inveterate freeloaders to find a compelling reason to donate big on a suitably momentous occasion.
Nice word.
Thank you for being two voices still seeking the truth in an empire of lies.
That's right. Inveterate.
Is he on the list?
Yes, he is.
Ryan McWhirter in St. Clair Shores, $333 even in Michigan. Longtime listener, first-time donor. It's also my birthday on the 3rd. I'll be 35. Shout out to my smoking hot girlfriend, Ashley, who I've hit in the mouth.
Woo!
That's not. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
He wants you to play Crossing the Border Karma and play Sharpton, one of the Sharpton hit reels.
Tonight is the measure of whether the country begins in the state of Wisconsin a national drive to push back, or whether we have more to go to build a movement of resistance. But resist we must, and we will much about that. Be committed. Joining me now.
You've got karma.
The next one says has an email. No, I've got the wrong one. The one after this has an email. You might want to check while I'm reading this.
I will.
Andrew Grasso in Merrick, New York, 333, executive producer for show 1039. There it is. Email forthcoming. It's already in here.
You got it.
Dear John, I'm making this donation of $333 Aussie dollars to get myself an executive producership for my 50th birthday this Wednesday. Is he on the list? All my life I have been a liberal. A lot of birthdays today. All my life, I've been a liberal. I was a fan of Bernie and very disappointed when Trump won. Shortly after the election, I asked the question at a dinner party about why we went to Iraq and was hit in the mouth. That changed my life. I have not missed an episode since. I have gone back to episode 426 to learn about pipelines and took it upon myself to go back to the day Trump was nominated to RE Live the whole election, to relive the whole election. From my newfound perspective, I particularly loved episode 777, make a note, with the discussion of Gog and Magog.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Gog and Magog.
Wow, I have to go listen to that again.
The price of this donation alone. I have to go back and listen to that myself.
Yeah.
My family thinks I'm obsessed. My kids say I'm in the morning and thank you for your courage. I have alienated just about all my Facebook friends and argue with my fabulous Dementia B mother every day. She has only watched the Food Network since Trump won, as she can't cope. This is in Australia. and thinks we're all going to die. Please don't ever give up what you and Adam do. As I said, you've changed my life. I need a de-douching and I resist much.
All right.
Andy Cantrell.
You've been de-douched.
But resist we must, and we will much about that be committed.
Okay, now that was Andy Cantrell, came in with 247.87. That note I read. The problem I had was the Andrew Grasso note on my spreadsheet. It looks like the same note. So Andrew Grasso, I still have to read it. It was not Andrew Grasso. This was Andy Cantrell. Sorry, that was a misread.
I see.
See where what happened?
No, yes, I do. Do you still need me to look for Grasso?
Yes, apparently. So it'd be
AGR,
and then his email.
Let me see. Grasso.
Sorry about that. Andy.
I don't think. Let me see. No, I do not have a Grasso. Sorry.
Well, it's this AGR. It's not Grasso.
AGR?
Yeah, he's got his email address there. It's
okay. I see. Okay, hold on.
Here it is. First-time donor listening since last year. I don't think I require a de-douching as I've been propagating the formula ever since I found your show. I also promote you guys on the social network Gab most every week. My donation today is part shilling and part thank you. I'm trying to get a web development and digital advertising agency off the ground. So if any listeners out there need a new website, a brand logo refresh, or e-promote their business to those damn kids, please call me at AGR. Looks like A-G-R, maybe.
Yeah, no, it's just AGR at
atlandigital.com.
Yeah, ATLANDIGITAL.com.
Not only do I have a startup, I also have a fiancé stomping the floor like Marissa Tomei and my cousin Vinny about getting married and having babies.
My clock is ticking.
As well as my parents' home in foreclosure. I do free consulting, and I would take any and all work at landdigital.com. Please play Trump's Jobs with a goat scream karma. Thanks so much for all you guys do. Andrew Grasso in New York City.
Jobs.
You've got karma.
Hey, I just wanted to ask you, maybe ask our producers a question. There's this other social net called Steemit, STEEMIT.
Yeah.
And so the way that works is people pay you money for posts. Then I guess you fill up a wallet, and then if you like something, you click on a like, and then it sends a couple of pennies to the person who posted that. Someone is posting our shows and making about $30 a show. Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Creative.
Oh well. It's very creative.
Again, I want to mention Andy Cantrell was the one with the Aussie dollars.
Now I have the note from our next producer.
Oh, you do good because I could not find anything. This is Ron Link, $238.38 in Holbrook, New York.
I'll start with this PS. Do you guys see these notes, or is email the way to go? Also, I was having trouble finding JCD's email. I know you guys say it all the time, but CBD. Okay. Well, it's john@dvorak.org. I don't see how difficult it is. But forgive me, Podfathers. This last show, I donated a boob with no 38. I missed the email. Donated Friday night. However, here's the make good. You guys changed my life in December of 2016 after your, Adam's, appearance with the Seed Man. So thank you, Adam, for hitting me in the mouth. Thank you for never sending out red alerts for America. The low anxiety and sanity are much appreciated. Your banter and chemistry truly makes me happy. Best podcast in the universe. NJNK, please de-douche, as asked on the second donation in the PayPal note to show, but I was a giant douche for a year. I get it. Well, of course. No problem.
You've been de-douched.
No problemo. Thank you very much for your courage. You'll be an associate executive producer for today's show.
Joey Efren in Colorado Springs, 23338. In the morning, John and Adam, I am submitting this donation in support of the show. Yeah, that would be nice if I did move this over. I've been listening since you first started covering the 2016 elections, and I've been hitting people in the mouth ever since. This represents a small amount of the value I've received from your show. I'd like to call out Jesse K. from PA in Colorado Springs as a douchebag. Douchebag. For jingles, I'd like a de-douching, Obama, Batman, no, and You Might Die.
Okay.
Joe Efron.
De-douching first?
You've been de-douched.
You might die.
You've got karma.
Russell Gurton, $201.33. This came in as a pop money donation. He did send an email saying, and by the way, this went through a credit union. Anyone out there is a member of a credit union. You probably have a pop mail account. You can send us money that way. If you need more details than we normally give you, using the email address noagenda@dvorak.org, we can get you that too. Anyway, $201.33 via pop money, and he needs jobs karma.
Okay. Is that it?
Yep.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
As you start to wrap in the 200s, Anonymous, $200.38. Lake Oswego, Oregon. Dear Pyramus and Thisbe, Uncle Sam came with a surprise donation to me, so I thought I'd share my good fortune with you.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work. Yeah, we're starting to see that now. It's about the time of year where you start getting some money back from the government. I agree that I appreciate hearing more non-U.S. media deconstruction. No special jingles, just some good karma for my business. Peace out.
Yeah, I got a couple of things for you for later on in today's show.
You've got karma.
Totally agree. We need as much international deconstruction as possible. We need our boots on the ground to help us with that. We can't monitor that
We got a guy in Saudi Arabia that can give us a little input.
Right.
Dwight Chick in Burlington, Ontario, $200.38. Sent in an email. That's funny. By the way, you got your pen?
Yes, I do.
Because he wants to add his brother Dwight on the birthday list for his 30th.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, well, this email is no good. I'm going to have to look it up because what happened here is I printed it out as I normally do and put it in the pile. But this was stupidly printed with Chrome.
Oh, no.
Which does not print squirrel mail email properly. It cuts it off at the bottom.
Hey, who is it? What's his brother's name?
Dwight.
No,
his younger brother Dwight is 30.
Well, so it's Dwight to Dwight?
What he says, brother Dwight. Here, I'll read it to you. What he said. Yeah, that's what it doesn't make any sense. Let me look him up. So I pull up the email. That doesn't make sense.
I find it outrageous that Chrome is not backward compatible with the 1930s squirrel mail.
You guys as long as possible. Okay, look here and hear me now. Believe me later. I love you guys. I thank my brother for introducing me to you guys. I have been listening since the 600s, but at the end of the day, I would like a birthday shout out. Oh, okay, never mind. I would like I don't know how I got to this. I would like a birthday shout out to my niece Amelia, who turns 3 tomorrow. That may or may not be on the list. Probably not. Turns 3 June 1st. Also, a warm, happy welcome to her baby sister Eleanor, a brand new human resource. I enjoy the Dirty 30s. Now, Adam, for the jingles, can you play? Okay, I know where he sent a second email, and I have to go get. Could you put an egg on it at the end of the show if you can find it? Also, can I get a Trump as president? Followed by calm down scream. Sorry for the long email. It's not long at all.
Yeah.
Hope you guys keep going for as long as you can.
Okay. And what was the other thing you wanted for the end of the show? Put an egg on it?
Yeah, if you can find it.
Yeah, I'll look for it.
He's Trump, the president.
Calm down.
You've got karma.
I've never heard that before.
What? The calm down?
Oh, no. This is interesting. Dwight Chick, Douglas Chick, is the one who he sent a note in, his brother. So there's a brother, Douglas, and he's the one who said, I want to wish my younger brother, Dwight, who sent this other note in, wishing the niece a happy birthday. So it is Dwight.
I'm very confused. I have Dwight Chick to his niece Amelia, who's 3 today, baby sister Eleanor, she's a new human resource, and then?
Yeah. And then Douglas Chick wants to wish his brother Dwight a happy birthday.
Okay. And he's 30. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I was confused.
Okay.
Hey, this is 2 shows we're doing here.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Let's go on. Jason Denny, $200.38, which is a positive number for us. Request a de-douching?
Yeah.
You've been de-douched.
In the morning, gents, from the Rocket City. The Rocket City. I don't know what it is. Doesn't say. The associate producer donation is part of my No Agenda bucket list en route to knighthood. On Twitter, I have favorited by both. I am an album winner, episode 788, and I have an individual troll room call out as Donald _Trump. I will make vinyl great again. The remaining items on my list include, but not limited to, jingle creation, executive producer Knight, and to meet you both in person. Your show is not only informative, but the best example of what makes this country great. Progress jobs karma and a deployment karma, as my unit is looking to send me again in a year, making my 10th deployment.
Holy crap.
Over my career airborne.
Airborne.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
I shall return.
How long will you be gone? All right. I presume this is for the note from Dave Bozeman from Wilmington, North Carolina. He sends in 200.37. This would be a yes, the show has gone past its usefulness.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he meant.
Okay.
Okay, where's Bozeman's note? I thought it was on the desk.
Maybe it's at the news desk.
Hey, news desk, can you get the note over here?
All right.
Okay, I'll find Bozeman's note. We'll read it the second half of the show. I moved it around. It's lost.
Oh, wait. I have Dave.
No, it's a handwritten note. Came in as a check.
No, I don't have it. No,
I'll get it. We'll get it later. Tegan Murray, $200.18. If cut off, see email. Third time donate her. I've been triggered by recent show comments about millennials and their dogs. Hence, 218, 18 being the year of the dog.
Oh.
After getting dumped out of a long-term relationship this spring that failed like the Titanic, I recently started trying out dating apps as a millennial would. You know what they're full of? Dog moms and comments like, if you don't like dogs, don't bother. Every second photo is some lady and her dog family. I love animals, but this is nuts and makes me want to take the Japanese approach of being single for life or trying out seppuku.
Seppuku?
I don't know. Look it up.
Sounds nasty.
Anyway, maybe it's something to eat. Anyway, I'll be fine. Thanks for adding some sanity to my life and being the best podcast in the universe. If possible, please plug CanadianValueInvestors.com. Canadian, not Scandinavian. CanadianValueInvestors.com.
Okay.
My co-run millennial site Hustle about value investing. Value for value. I'd like to request the following jingles. Dogs are people too, and karma for the dating.
Seppuku. Another term for harikiri. Okay, we got it.
Dogs are people too. You've got karma.
That concludes, with the exception of our note that we need to find. That concludes our producers, and executive producer, associate, and executive for show 1039 and 1038 combined.
Yes, thank you very much. These are real credits. They can be used anywhere credits are recognized and accepted. LinkedIn is where we like to put them. It works for a lot of people, but you can join a guild if you want, and it does appear to help people get jobs because it looks impressive on your resume. Thank you for that. Thank you for your courage. And we will be thanking more people, $50 and above, later on in the program. And obviously, we got another show coming up Thursday. Please remember us at
Dvorak.org/NA.
Lots of people being hit in the mouth today and hitting in the mouth. It's called propagating.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
Well, since we got brought into the Dogs Are People 2 segment and the jingle was by request, I do have a clip from my backyard, Austin, Texas.
6 o'clock, years of talk about how East Austin is changing confirmed. New research out of the University of Texas shows it's already changed.
One of the big headlines, a neighborhood that now has more dogs than children.
We would play basketball on the street, ride our bikes on the street. We were a family, so the neighborhood was a family.
That's how Erica Jasper remembers growing up in East Austin in the 1970s. But she's seen evidence of UT researchers' findings that children, or more accurately families, are disappearing.
Yeah, we don't see kids anymore. We don't see kids out on the street. We don't see kids playing basketball.
When you say it right off, it kind of seems like almost an attack at the newcomers, eccentric dog owners, but it's not that at all. It's just a severe lack of children.
Dogs are people too.
Now, what people are most concerned about is they are worried that the playgrounds of East Austin will become dog parks, which will be irreversible.
Yeah, and dogs poop all over the place, by the way.
Yeah, you noticed. Yeah.
Yeah, they're peeing in your elevator, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm toning down the reports because it's obvious. We've shown that it's true. I set the trend, as you would say. Is now everyone is aware that we are gentrifying East Austin with dogs. It's very odd. The real problem,
it's hilarious.
The real problem is, of course, affordable housing in Austin, which is going the way of San Francisco and most of California. Yay.
Yeah.
It's unaffordable here in Austin. It's really...
So I was looking at, as I was doing, because I brought up this issue with the cheap properties in parts of Pennsylvania and the little splotches around the state.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at something interesting because I was on Carmel, I think, and some of these other places where you can buy a house for $25,000. Most of the houses for sale, and they sell between $25,000 and maybe $100,000, maybe. They're all small square footage, and it's like every house in the whole town is 1,200 square foot.
Mm-hmm.
You can't buy a 1,200. You mean there's one or two here and there. There's these. They would be called cottages in the San Francisco Bay Area, but most places got a lot of square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely 1,000 or 1,200. And I think that maybe that would be some part of a solution, is to make it a lot smaller and build some smaller cottages so people can get started.
Tiny
in
homes.
The home buying process.
Tiny homes.
Well, tiny homes is really small, but I mean, there needs to be some way, because anyone who's ever gone through the property game, you ratchet.
I have the answer.
You buy something.
I have the answer. The former New York banker told me what he's doing in Austin. He has acreage that he purchased several years ago in East Austin, out towards Ben White Boulevard, I think, or that East Austin, and he is going to he's going to build dorms, not for students, just dorms for people.
Not a bad idea. I would say that has potential,
but it's kind of sad.
Well, it's like building it. Yeah. Well, they can always repurpose them as prisons.
Who says it's not the same? It is, after all, East Austin. The only thing you need to do is just lock the doors. And I purchased.
Not a bad idea.
Well, I think he's going to make a killing. He's a banker, after all.
Yeah.
Well, I purchased a copy of the Financial Times Weekend Edition while we were waiting at the airport in Houston for our flight back to Austin. And I was looking at they have that weekend edition. They have all the real estate prices. Now, New York, I thought New York real estate prices had really collapsed.
Not that I know of.
Oh, I thought that people were leaving and they couldn't, no one wants to buy them anymore. But I saw a studio apartment, I think it was 750 square feet for $1.8 million.
How many square feet?
750.
Jeez.
Whoa, where are we going?
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, let's shift gears here for a second. This is not so much something to deconstruct. Well, maybe a world deconstruction. I didn't get around to playing this a couple shows ago, a clip about Ireland now passing a new law to allow abortions, which has been something that's been verboten in Ireland forever. And so that passed, and now we have Argentina.
Hundreds of women have protested against Argentina's strict anti-abortion laws outside the country's Congress building. On June 13th, the Congress will vote on whether to relax the law and allow women to terminate their fetus in the first 14 weeks of pregnancy. It would also allow termination if there were serious fetal abnormalities or if the woman had been raped or her life was in danger. At the moment, abortion can only be legally performed if there's a threat to the woman's life or she's been raped. So
there you go. The New World Order plan is working. Kill your babies everywhere. It's pretty interesting.
Kill all babies.
Did I hear a report, or did I read a report somewhere?
There's a song in that. What was it? Was it maybe a song by the Stranglers?
No, it's Mother.
Remember the song "Kill for Peace"?
No.
Okay, I'm thinking of something.
What was it? Kill all your babies. What is that? Something. You'd think a disc jockey like myself would know exactly what that was. But.
I'm just thinking of. Do some more lyrics.
Yeah. You should definitely do some more lyrics.
Okay,
yeah, do some more lyrics. Yeah. Italy. This is again very interesting. What's happening in Italy as. It looks like they now have formed a cabinet, and with a parliamentary system, unless you win the majority of the votes, you have to form a coalition with other parties. And so the Five Star, which used to be the Comedians' Party, Beppe Grillo, has now formed a government.
Right, yes.
Has formed a government with two parties.
People don't realize you're not joking.
No, I'm not joking. They formed a government. Well, Beppe Grillo is no longer the lead guy. They got the handsome young 30-year-old who said, you know what? We'll form the coalition. I don't have to be prime minister. I'll be minister of economic development. But they brought in two parties they've hated traditionally. One being the far right, one being the far left. And somehow that's going to work. Seems like a non-starter to me. I mean, I've seen it fail in the Netherlands time and time again. They call it a pink coalition. So it's red and blue kind of combined. And here's a report which I thought was interesting on the topic.
The recent political turmoil has unsettled financial markets, and analysts say there are still turbulent times ahead as Italy enters uncharted territory. In particular, the government is likely to face difficult relations with Brussels.
This government of populists and demagogues, Eurosceptic and anti-immigrant, will hold, and we will now find out what it means to have the first real Trump-like government in one of Europe's biggest economies.
I like the Trump-like government. Okay, it's not even close.
Will they go against Europe, or will they calm down? Will they engage in radical economic policies that blow a hole in Italy's finances, or will they be more pragmatic? And the fact that Paolo Savona, the controversial anti-Euro economist who was blocked by the president of Italy from becoming Treasury Minister, has now been shifted over and snuck through the back door in as European Affairs Minister, is like an insult to Europe. Paolo Savona has talked about leaving the euro as a plan B, leaving the single currency. Now, that may not happen, and Italy will stay in the single currency, but they've also promised over 100 billion euros of spending plans. Right now, the markets, financial markets, have calmed after being spooked and worried about Italy, and after an Italian bond sell-off. But if a new government gives indications that it's really going to create a flat tax that drives a hole through the budget and creates a deficit of 50 billion euros a year, or if they try to undo pension reform that costs 200 billion euros, if they do these kind of irresponsible things, the financial markets will come in, the ratings agencies will downgrade Italy debt to junk bond status. And at that point, not even Mario Draghi and his quantitative easing can save Italy if they get degraded to downgraded to junk bond status.
That was the EU falling off the cliff. This is pretty significant. The Italian problem, I think, is much bigger than we realize.
Well, we have a similar problem going on in Spain.
Yes. Also with the government teetering because they kicked out did they kick out the prime minister for, it was number 33 in the report somewhere on that.
There was some corruption or something involved, but it's the socialists have taken over. Spain is extreme. If you go and really you go there and you actually hang around with people, including No Agenda listeners, you find there's a lot of really hardcore socialists that would love to run the country. And I think they're taking over the place. And it's going to be interesting to see how they do.
Well, regardless, it seems like globally, the slaves are revolting. They may be misguided in some cases.
They can only put up with so much.
And what I think I was talking to someone.
You got to take the vote away from them. You don't have to worry about this.
Well, so here's why I like America. Is in all these countries they'll do exactly that. They'll take the vote away. Shut up. There was no good do-over, and they can get angry. And we've seen in the UK in the 70s the North came down with, basically really with pitchforks and torches for real. And we're in the streets and we're screaming. But, as long as the Second Amendment remains intact in the United States, that won't happen. That's why they want the guns gone. This is our final defense mechanism. They know don't piss off the Americans because they bring something different to the party.
Yeah, you can do a lot more damage with weapons than you can with...
man, with my bump stock. Yeah.
With a bump stock than you can with a pitchfork.
With my bump stock, yeah.
Bump stock. You can 3D print them.
And then maybe we should have a quick convo about the tariffs. Yeah, I think I have a pooper clip about the tariffs here. No, is this? No, this is from Euronews about the new imposed steel and aluminum tariffs.
Donald Trump is slapping tariffs on EU steel and aluminium imports, kicking the block where it hurts. The move is now sparking...
Where does it hurt, really, when you kick them? I mean, is that supposed to be a kicking the balls comment? Or I'm not sure.
I have no idea.
They're trying to be funny there at Euronews.
Donald Trump is slapping tariffs on EU steel and aluminium imports, kicking the block where it hurts. The move is now sparking warnings that it could destroy Europe's steel industry, where prices could drop by up to 40%. Confirmation of the tariffs came to the European Commission president during a speech.
Expected. Where was I?
In a statement, Jean-Claude Juncker said the tariffs are protectionism, pure and simple. while the EU Trade Commissioner added, this is not the way we do business. In a tweet, EU Parliament Group leader Manfred Weber said, we will not accept this highly regrettable decision without reacting. And that means there will be extra duties on American imports into the EU. It spells uncertainty for businesses on both sides of the Atlantic, including Europe's steel sector.
We need to take safeguard measures for the EU. We are at the front door of a trade war. Therefore, we have to continue discussions, negotiations with the US. That has to be done on political level because the European Commission is also planning other rebalancing measures. So it's not only about safeguards.
The steel industry is big business in the EU. It directly employs 320,000 people, producing 170 million tons of steel every year at more than 500 production sites. The US is the second biggest export destination after Turkey. 4.9 million tons of steel went there last year. US imports like jeans and Harley-Davidsons have been earmarked for the EU retaliation. Brussels will also now trigger a dispute settlement case at the World Trade Organization, saying America's going against agreed international rules. All this amid a worldwide glut of steel and aluminium, largely blamed on excess production in China.
There is a much broader issue, a much bigger issue that the administration in Washington is aware of, and that's the distortions in the Chinese economy that need to be addressed. If those issues are going to be addressed, the United States will need to have the EU as an ally, and to be getting into a quarrel with the EU at the same time that we have a much bigger issue is tactically, I would say, wrong and strategically wrong.
The EU says it doesn't want a trade war, but it's difficult to see that now being averted.
So I'm not very well schooled in all of this. And I'll kind of give you my impression. You can help me out. It appears that we were trying to negotiate with everybody, but certainly the EU over the tariffs. And I guess we didn't have any tariffs on steel and aluminum imports.
I don't think we did, but you don't know because these stories are never that don't give us any real information.
I did actually. I put it in the show notes. I did go to the it's the fitus.org or .gov or something. There's a website for the import trade, and there's some body responsible for it. And you can look. There's a lot of things that we have import duties on. Wax is a big one. I remember this when I saw the price of candles in the United States. I'm like, holy crap! This is a bag of tea light candles is $10. That's like $1 in Europe. So there's some protectionism going on there, and the cotton, and there's a bunch of things, but probably not on steel and aluminum. And I guess we were in a negotiation conversation, and it just dragged on. And then Trump said, "Okay, I'm tired of waiting, and here you go, boom, here's your tax." And I don't know, did they not expect him to follow through? He seems to follow through in a lot of other promises that he makes. And
this is the thing they're starting to note. In fact, I was listening to a bunch of these PBS guys going on and on about, well, why is he doing this? Well, it's one of his promises.
Yeah.
And the thing is, his promises that he put out on the campaign trail with, I don't know, maybe one or two exceptions. I don't know what they are. He has got a checklist, and I guess since he's an amateur politician, really, he actually, I think, believes that if he promised something on the campaign trail, he has to deliver it as president.
It's crazy.
Nobody else thinks that way.
I love the quote from...
Otherwise, we'd be out of, Obama, take it to the bank. We wouldn't, we'd close down Guantanamo.
Take that to the bank. I love the quote from... Now, on July 1st, the Mexicans will have an election. And according to polling, the left-wing populist Andrés Manuel López Obrador, who is known as AMLO, he might become the new leader of Mexico. And he has apparently slammed Mexico's slammed. I mean, really, butt slam.
Butt slam!
That's from Financial Times, I might add. Slammed Mexico's current government as weak and criticized its decision to retaliate rapidly against this week's U.S. tariffs as short-sighted. Quote, "If we fall into the trap of responding an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, we're going to be one-eyed and toothless."
An old joke.
I never heard that one. That's a good phrase from the Shays.
Very old, very old.
Have you ever heard, here's just a phrase from the Shays. Have you ever heard "don't tear my sign"?
Never.
Now, my parents, there was some book it's got to be the 70s. There's some self-help book. My parents were big into that. A lot of good it did. They taught us this, that the book talked about everybody wakes up in the morning and they have a sign, like a sign like a protest sign on a stick. But the sign says, I'm me, I'm happy, or whatever the goofy word was. And throughout the day, people tear at your sign. They grasp away, and hence the phrase, hey man, don't tear my sign. And I just grew up with that, and I wondered if anyone else had ever heard that. I guess you haven't.
I never heard it. I do know there was a lot of these self-affirmation.
What color is my parachute? That kind of stuff.
But I'm talking about people putting little Post-it notes, you're great, and little notes all over the place that just tell you how great you are. And for people who are obviously so, depressed, I guess, as they're walking around, they have to, oh, God, the sign says I'm great. I wrote that this morning.
I'm going to keep using it.
I forgot that I'm great.
I'm going to keep using that. Hey, man, don't tear my sign. What? I've also come across a very effective, something new. And this really works. I've tried it out once or twice. Here's a situation. Someone cuts you off in traffic. What do most people do? You flip them off. Right?
Not necessarily.
Let's say that's one way to show your aggravation with the situation.
In California, it's always risky.
Here's what I am now doing. For whatever reason, if someone says something and you want to flip them off, instead of flipping them off, you give them a thumbs down. And it really confuses people. Because they're like, wait, and it feels worse to them. Like, because, and now with the Facebook the thumbs up, you give them a thumbs down. You don't have to say anything, just give them a thumbs down.
It's a Facebook meme.
But it's in reverse. So you give them a thumbs down and people go, oh, shit, what? Oh. You try it. I'd love to hear back from people.
I like the idea. I think it's a good idea.
It's thumbs down instead of flipping.
In California, you don't want to flip people, they'll shoot you.
Yeah, but in Texas, too.
Yeah, but giving a thumbs down is not grounds for shooting.
Shooting, no. And it's kind of like
it would be kind of baffling for somebody.
And I'm bad.
Why should give me a thumbs down?
Oh, man, he gave me a thumbs down. I'm hurt. I'm triggered, bro. Yeah, I want to thank Jesse for that. He's a bicyclist in Austin. He has to use the thumbs down a lot. And he says it really works. Because if you flip someone off on a bike in Texas, you're dead. They will run you over.
Run you over.
You're
right into the ditch.
You got an F-150 on your butt. I mean, you're done. But the thumbs down confuses them. Like, what? It's like a brain freeze somehow. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. I usually just ignore these sorts of things.
Yeah.
So I was watching Kimmel.
Mm-hmm.
He did one of those on the street things, and this one I thought was pretty revealing. And at the same time, we know that they go out and ask 20 people a question, and they take the one guy who's a complete idiot.
Yeah.
But that's the way you do this bit where you go on the street and you ask something stupid. But this one had way too many complete idiots, it seems to me. And the clip is a little long. But Kimmel went on the street and just asked people to name a book. Now, so if I say to you, wait. If I say, Adam, name a book.
Okay. You want me to name one?
Yeah.
Lost Connections.
I would say, if somebody asked me to name a book, I'd say War and Peace.
Oh, okay. That's, yes, heady, but okay. I can name a whole bunch.
Brothers Karam.
Here's the book. My most recent book is Automate the Boring Stuff with Python. So, yeah, I read books.
No nerds came up with this. But this is what we ended up with on the Los Angeles streets.
You wonder, with all the streaming and the apps and the games, are people still reading books? You remember books, the things from Oprah's Club? So, according to a recent study from the Pew Research Center, almost 1 in 4 Americans has not read a book in the past year. That actually seems high to me. I bet it's even fewer than that. So, to find out, this afternoon, we sent a team out to the street to ask pedestrians to name a book. Any book. Could be the Bible. Could be 50 Shades of...
I love how people are already laughing because they know they can't name a book. This is great.
Great. All we wanted to know is, can you name a book? And here's how that went.
Can you name a book?
Oh, yes. I don't read books. But, what's it called?
Can you name a book?
No.
Can you name a book?
I'll try and read books. Yeah, that's it.
A book? The Lion King.
The movie?
Yeah, the book.
You read the book The Lion King?
Yeah.
This thing. Dang, hold on, man. I haven't even read it. Hold on, let me think. Hold on. Can we cut this and do it again?
Can you name a book?
A book? Any book? The Jungle Book. It's not a book, is it? It's a movie. Jungle Book, sure.
Is it?
Both.
Be sure?
No.
Do magazines count?
No, those wouldn't be books.
That's correct.
I can name Moby Dick. That's an artist. He wrote a book called Horse. I like that book.
Moby Dick was the author.
Yes.
And the book was Horse.
Yes. That's what I said, huh?
What was the last book you read?
Probably Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss, maybe?
I haven't read a book for like 12 years.
I'm drawing a blank. Jeez. I need books. Sorry. I am totally blanking out on books.
What do you do for a living?
I was a librarian. Now I'm
You deserve it for that.
Clip of the day.
Wow.
That's what I thought. It was a little. I mean, yeah, you could make a lot of fun out of it. Of course. But this was out of control. There was way too many people. I mean, I'm sure most people had an answer, but the number of people that didn't have an answer was just astonishing to me.
I mean, if you ask any no agenda producer, there's only one correct answer.
Atlas Shrugged.
By Ayn Rand.
I guess so.
Wow. That is pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
So we have an election going on here in California, and there's all Democrats running. And we have
you need to explain something, because from what I understand, you have some odd rule in California where it will be the top two contenders regardless of party.
For this. It's called a circus, or it's got some specific name.
Circus is right.
But the rule is, during the primaries, you can have Republicans, Libertarians, Democrats. The top two vote getters are the two people put on the ballot. It could be two Republicans, which is rare, but it can happen in Southern California, or it could be two Democrats. So it should be two Democrats for governor.
Right.
So they're trying to. The guy who's leading is this kind of a slick operator, Gavin Newsom. Yeah, who I've met the guy.
Wasn't he mayor of San Francisco at one point?
He was mayor of San Francisco. Now he's lieutenant governor or something, and he very slick. He's like a young Treat Williams.
Is he gay?
No, he's the one who was married to Guilfoyle.
Oh, right. Same.
And now he's married to some.
So yeah, he's gay. Okay, gotcha. All right,
could be, but he's married to some other babe. And he still wears, he still hasn't gotten the word.
He's got the open shirt.
Open shirt, no T-shirt, just an open shirt down to the third button or something. He's hey, and he's got that how you doing?
Hey, I'm Gavin.
Hey, babe.
Hey, baby.
So he's got this. He looks like and he's got the hair, the whole.
A classic douche.
He's a classic douche, but he's a political animal.
A political douche.
And so he's leading the pack, but so they're going after him with these anti-Newsom ads, and they're very good. And if you look down the list of who's promoting these the anti-Gavin ads, is the top name you see on there is Reed Hastings.
Oh, from Netflix?
Yeah.
Huh.
So Reed Hastings is going after Newsom, and he's got he's got Hollywood. Because, they produce all these things. He can call anybody.
He can call Kevin Spacey in a heartbeat.
He could call anybody and say, hey.
Harvey Weinstein.
So these are very slick. And there's a bunch of them. I'm going to play this one. There's about 3. But this one here it's just excellent.
We all know guys like Gavin, boasting, overselling his achievements, making false claims. As lieutenant governor, he skipped many of his duties, saying the job was so dull, he only shows up to work at the state capitol like 1 day a week, tops. The same Gavin who was mayor split town during a massive oil spill and jetted off to Hawaii. Gavin's not going to work as governor.
Now, the way this is, what people don't realize, what this is, a very subtle brainwashing tool. The way it starts off, we all know guys like Gavin boasting, making claims. They're associating him with Trump.
Good
the beginning of this thing, you can play the beginning again.
I want to hear
and
that.
This is a reference to Trump. It especially works in California. But instead, now I want to mention this. Everybody running in California for anything is an anti-Trump ad. Oh, the next superintendent of schools. I don't want to. We're going to fight Trump and his hatred of schools. Oh, we're going to fight Trump. And everybody's going on and on about fighting Trump. But nobody has the skills. I mean, and you watch these ads, you go, are you running against Trump? What is your problem? But nobody has the skills to do what the Reed Hastings group has done here, which is association, just subconsciously. It's beautiful.
Let's hear it again.
We all know guys like Gavin, boasting, overselling his achievements, making false claims. As lieutenant governor, he skipped many of.
Wow, that is good. And Hastings is a Democrat, as far as I know.
Well, he doesn't. Yeah, he wants the mayor of Los Angeles, this other guy, this Latino guy, to win.
Villanova,
in fact,
whatever
at the bottom
his name
is for this guy. I can't remember his name. Some long name. But he's a Democrat, but he doesn't want Gavin Newsom. He wants the other guy.
Right.
And he's pulling this stunt. And it is. I'm watching these ads, and I'm just in awe of the way they've structured them to get to you. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I know a guy like that. I think it's Trump is his name, isn't it? We hate Trump in California.
I'd love for you to bring more of those. I'd love to hear more. It's your beat.
Okay, I get there's a couple. There's at least one more good one, and then I'll look for others.
All right. There was a fabulous Ted Pill moment the other day.
You better hide your stash because there's a war on cash.
Yes, the war on cash continues. How's that working out for you, Sweden? The Visa payment network went down. I'm sorry, there was a glitch. And although we did get an explanation, a hardware failure. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. If you're running the Visa payment network and your hardware breaks, ever hear of backup, failover, all that stuff. So clearly someone deployed some patch which broke a lot of stuff. And I started getting text messages. People like, holy shit, you got to see what's going on. And I just, searched for the hashtag Visa. I think the actual hashtag was hashtag pound Visa down. And in the UK, this happened on a Friday, bank holiday, I might point out. We've always been promised the bank holiday is when Armageddon would strike. It came back up and they fixed it. I'm sure it was a backlog. But the problems people had, the biggest problem, by far, were shopkeepers and people at supermarkets who just could not process payment, and people would yell at them. They were, cursing and yelling and, throwing stuff and grabbing things they hadn't paid for and just leaving. You're not doing it right. And, people who had drinks and food and then couldn't pay for it. People trying to get medication for their ailing grandmother who couldn't get the medication. I mean, it was a real problem. And, this is, I think, just a taste of things to come. Thank you, Professor Ted, for teaching us the book, Industrial Society and Its Future, another fine tome you might want to read. And I was surprised at how the response, people are really like, how can this be? How can this happen? And it was all over Europe. Sweden was the worst. The
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
If they go to cashless, this is your problem.
And then, just go to the ATM. Well, how long were the lines? They were long. There were long lines. And then the ATM runs out of money, so you couldn't get any cash. And it was for the weekend. I mean, if this is not a dire warning, and it's not like there's a lot of reporting on it here. I mean, I went looking on the YouTubes to find, this is a gripe of mine. Man, if you go look for a video of a news report, you'll get just in the YouTubes, and you say, Visa down, something like that. It gives you this whole slew of videos, and they're all from Fox and NBC and all these online operations, and not a single one of them is an actual news report. It's just a video. I hate these videos with just text, or worse, a computer voice reading the story. What is wrong with you people?
Where does that come from?
I don't.
Why do people put these things up with a computer voice? Can't they talk? Don't they have a mic?
And somehow they game the SEO to such a degree that it's the top 100 is just all of these videos with words, with music, or with words on the screen, or with music.
Yeah,
just
hate
music.
That too. I hate it. What's the point?
Well, you get the computer voice to read. It's completely useless for the show. Obviously, my biggest gripe about it. But holy moly. And I have a clip here. This is of a UK millennial in a shop. And it's about 50 seconds long. And just listen to him not understanding what happened.
The card machine, they don't work. Our branch in Liverpool Street, their card machines also don't work. What happens is it goes in, it says receiving from the server, of course, and then it says it doesn't work. So it tries to reconnect a few times, and then it says not authorized. Of course, it's not the customer's card that isn't authorized. It's just that's what it chooses to decide is wrong. And so we say it doesn't work. We say you can try it still if you like. But then we try and get them to pay with cash, and only a few customers they don't want to pay with cash because they have it trained to catch or just don't want. We don't know what the problem is. We assume probably it's the servers or the software. We don't know when it will end. We don't know much about what's going on.
You're like, I don't know, is the server or something, the internet it didn't work, and I realized a couple things. When the personal computer revolution started, we were promised something. We were promised that you would be able to have the power of a computer in your home, on your desk, and you would be able to have it do things for you. Just things that would automate things. This is actually interesting that I had that book with me on vacation to automate the boring stuff with Python. Because if you learn how to at least one programming language, you can actually make almost any modern day computer do things for you. But it does require learning a language. And what I realized is the idea of, the Girl Scouts or what's happening in Chicago, teaching our children to code is on one hand really good because children learn how to code. But what are they learning? And the realization was in education, we have nobody in Washington, and I'm just talking about America, but I could say it's pretty broad across all governments, who understand how computers work. And we have no advocates. Where is the open source advocate in Washington? Who is the person that is on the education board or in the committee saying...
Let's put Richard Stallman in.
Well, no, that would be one extreme, but the other extreme is Bill Gates knows, let's have him run the program. Or Cisco knows, let's have them run the program.
Him.
Google knows, let's have them run the program.
It's beneath them.
And yes, it is, but they're dumb and they're morons. And what they're missing is that we are teaching these children to be coding slaves for the platform, for apps and all this crap that have really brought us down to a dumb level of computer usage. No app that you get today does exactly what you want it to do. You could actually create some program that does on your computer exactly what you want it to do. But that's not what they're being taught. They're being taught stupid app skills that'll be great if they put you into the factory at Google or the factory at Facebag. And we really need to have some advocate somewhere. Maybe there is. I just never see a report about it. And now Richard Stallman is not the guy. He's not. I'm not advocating for for free software, what he's talking about, although I think his ideals are genuine and it's an important part. But just, we need a basic understanding so children can actually harness the power of the computers and, yes, even the stupid phones they're carrying around incessantly to do stuff that's productive and forward-thinking and not just part of the slave pipeline. It's disturbing.
The pet peeve.
Yes.
Adam C. Curry's pet peeve of the day.
There you go.
Falling on deaf ears, as often the case.
As usual. Falling on deaf ears. Yes, exactly. It's just just the beginning.
I found the note.
Good.
From Dave Bosman, who donated $200, 237 cents. And of course, he's 37 means he doesn't want us to continue, but I don't think that's what he really wants. I about busted a gut laughing when you guys were trying to figure out the last show what crab picking is. I believe one of you said it would be where you choose the best crabs out of a net or trap. I don't know that we said that. I think this would be crab choosing. I grew up on the coast. My father often put out crab pots.
Well, hold on. Stop. Let's just back it up for 1 second. This came out of the convo that there were not enough H-2B visas, apparently, for cheap labor to come into these places where they have crab pickers, which is a high skill, I think, and it's hard work. It's not poorly paid, is my understanding, but there was no one else who wants to do the job. And
yeah, bull crap. I grew up on the coast, and my father often put out crab pots, which were wire traps that caught crabs using a fish head and a Roach Hotel kind of entrance. After we boiled the crabs, you broke open the bodies, removed the guts, and started crab picking, which involved pulling out very small pieces of crab meat out of very small chambers. You have to consistently break up the crab body to get to the very small pieces of crab meat. It's a pain in the ass, and that's why no one in this country wants to do it. That's it. A few months, and I've gotten this note from other people saying that's what it is. Yes. It's just picking crab. Like, nobody wants to do it. Okay, sure. Then they got work, apparently, or they'd rather be homeless. A few months ago, my friend who owns a Cessna 182.
Hey, my favorite.
This is actually a privacy story. Does he want me not to read it? No. I think it's a privacy story. 182, that's for you, Adam. It picked me up at my house in his car, and he drove me to the airport where he flew us to Hilton Head, South Carolina. He filed an IFR flight plan with the FAA where he declared 2 souls on board. Mm-hmm. In Hilton Head, his wife picked us up in her car and drove us to an apartment she had rented in her name. Over the weekend, we went out to eat a few times, and I've always paid cash. I never used my credit card. The trip home was the same in reverse. Her car to the airport, plane back, no mention of my name to the FAA. And his car back to my home. There's the first time I'd visit Hilton Head, and 2 weeks later, I started receiving junk mail from timeshare properties. Yes, I had my iPhone with me, and yes, I have the Facebook app. Creepy.
Okay, this was another one of my revelations. Here's what you must at all times do. If you've ever been to the mall, what you need to do is turn off your Wi-Fi when you're out of your house, and I'll explain why. If you've ever been to the mall, we have that here in Texas. I've seen it in New Jersey. They have this outfit. It's called some name. It's like Tommy Wi-Fi or something, or Pete Wi. It's like some guy's name, and you can get free Wi-Fi in the mall. You're like, oh, this is great. I've got free Wi-Fi. And you connect to it. And I don't know if you have to put your name and information in there, but you connect. The beaconing systems within retail have become so sophisticated that if you are in the toothpaste aisle with your iPhone, you are likely to get Crest ads later on somewhere because they triangulate your Wi-Fi right down to where you are in the aisle. And that's what's happening. You were at a timeshare, guaranteed there was some Wi-Fi beacon that was snooping around. There's somebody. We've got his iPhone ID. Can we connect that to FaceBag or one of the other millions of trackers out there? And that's how you're going to get these ads. I think that is really what is going on. A lot of this is Wi-Fi. So you got to keep your Wi-Fi off.
And he finishes with, thank you for everything you guys do. I cannot begin to tell you how much your podcast means to me, even though I put the 37 cents on. Means to me. I hope I can thank you in person someday, but If not, please know there are thousands like me. No jingles, no karma.
All right. Thank you very much for your courage.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
We have a few people to thank. Mark McLean for the last 2 shows. I want to mention that, so this is going to run long. We want to warn the affiliates. Mark McLean in Palmyra, Tennessee, 10138. Keep going. He says you get the 38 in there. Sir Torialta, Baronet of Glen Ellen and Slonoma, 10101. Keep up the good work. Von Glitchka, $100.38. Now, here we get a slew of these. They're all $100.38. Von Glitchka, Robert Dieter in Sacramento, Anonymous, Sean Wilkie, 10138. Baron Latiquin in Houston, Texas. Werner Flipson.
Yes.
And that's the end of that.
Werner Flipson, need to point out, he is our Wi-Fi knight. If you're in Amsterdam, shoot me an email.
Wi-Fi knight. John Robinet, 100. Plain Old Bob in Staten Island, New York, 100. Lon Baker, 100. Yichio Ren, 8838. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yichio Ren's 100. Sorry. Stephen Curtis is 8838. Sir Brent, the Trusted Integer in Westminster, Maryland, 8638.
Interesting. The Trusted Integer throws a floating point at us, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been reading the book.
Sir Carries in Somerville, Massachusetts, 8338. Oleg Nikini, I'm guessing, or Nikine, 8338. Antonio Sanchez Godinez from Spain, 8038. Need job karma. We'll have to put some at the end for you. Jim Watts, 8038. Yes to boobs, also to No Agenda. Sir James of the Mountains. Alejandro Merce Lunch, I'm thinking. Another Spaniard.
Espanol,
from Spain, in Barcelona, as a matter of fact. 80, I think he's the one who told us not to pronounce it improperly. 8008, boobs. Now, I put 2 specific Easter eggs, 2 separate ones. The first time I've ever done that in the last newsletter. And what? We got 8008 donation?
Only one lone boob.
And this could have been done on, we may have not even got it from the Easter egg.
I think they were so blown away by the Elvis pics.
No, the last newsletter.
Oh, the last one. Oh, okay. Sorry. You're right.
I like that fat Elvis. That was my favorite. I mean, we're not talking about fat. We're talking about a guy with really big guy.
Yeah.
Robert Robertson, Medford, Oregon, 7638. Sir Andy, $75 in Tacoma, Washington. S. Lewis, 75. David Bamford, and Lewis is from the UK. David Bamford from Australia, 75.
He has never donated, so I want to de-douche.
You've been de-douched.
Jonathan Reisman in Maplewood, Missouri, 7338. Paul Von Cordelar. Paul Von Cordelar in Humidon.
No, you know how to do this. Come on. The I and the J.
Oh, it looks like a U here.
Yeah.
That means a Yemedin. What is it again?
It's I. It's I Mouden. I Mouden.
I Mouden. Sir God Nate. I feel like an idiot. Sir God Nate in Sebastopol, California, 6969. Brandon Shipley in Covington, Washington, 6938. John Hawley in Blaine, Minnesota, 6938. Sir Johnny of the Swamp Knight, Washington, D.C. Sir Johnny the Swamp Knight. That's good. Bert Brusen is 66 from the Netherlands. He's also in the Netherlands, so it'd be Bert Brusen.
Yes, right? and a lot of people are coming to us from Bert and Roderick, the TPO podcast in the Netherlands. Roderick.
And this is Bert.
Oh, it is Bert. Holy shit. But I've seen more come in from who listened to the TPO podcast, which I think is very successful. I'm happy for him. My buddy Roderick Falo, who's an M5M guy with a podcast and is doing very well, and we appreciate it. And we hope they do extremely well.
They're taking a cue from you. Sir Chris Abraham in Arlington, Virginia, 6538. Sir Lucas of the Lost Bits, 6432. Eric Rosenboom. Rosenboom in Krempen-Anderlecht.
Very good.
6369.
And he
Netherlands.
has his 49th birthday. He says, of course, we'll be sitting in the traditional Dutch birthday circle complaining about all things Dutch people like to complain about.
Yes.
The topic will be the energy transition from trusty natural gas to whatever keeps us warm and the mobile phones charged. Uh-huh. Gas is going away there. Yep.
Melchior von der Decken in Czechoslovakia. Where's CZ? It's Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic.
I think it's Melchior.
Yeah, Czech Republic.
Melchior von der Decken.
6038. Keep it going, he says. Thomas Novak in Hickson, Tennessee. 6006, a small boob. Robert Bruckner, 5555. Fawaz El Duwaj.
Yeah, this is not my expertise. He's from Kuwait.
He's a Kuwaiti.
He says, God spare Kuwait from war. Yes, we want no war. Fawaz, thank you.
Yeah, we need more. Send some reports in. Travis Stearns, recipes from the Middle East are good too. Travis Stearns, 5538. Ivar van der Velde. Jobs karma for you at the end. 5510. Sir Tom Dari in DeForest, Wisconsin, 5510. Sir Gabe, $55 in San Francisco. James Moore in San Pablo, California, 5338. Eric Hokel in Mulrose, Deutschland, 52. Max Turnquist in Somerville, Massachusetts, 5138. Kevin Kelly, 51. Love the show. MSM are exposed now. So that's why your audience is diminishing. What? Okay. Terry Clark.
It says talk more about Q to attract the next wave of donors. On the next show, I'll talk about Q and how you are all part of one big psy-op.
Yeah, I would like you to do that because we have about 10 people who harass us about QAnon, which is what we're discussing here, constantly.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced this is a psychological operation, and I think I have enough evidence, yeah.
Good. Terry Clark, 5038. Derek Boggs, 5038. These are all 5038. I'm going to go all over them. These are all votes for the show. Roger Esty, Tyler Hebb in Melrose, Massachusetts. David Rosa, Damian Curry, your buddy, your brother.
Yeah.
William Cornell, he's in Australia. William Cornell, 5038. Courtney Vandenberg in she's in Deutschland. No, keep going, she says. Could be a guy, by the way, with that name. Stefan Eret in Fellbach, Deutschland.
A lot of Deutschlands today. That's nice.
We got a lot of Deutschlanders.
Hello, Deutschland. Here's the Hof.
Dame Tanya Wayman in New York City. Please continue the show. And thanks to Ramsey Kane for including my clip. Colton Comer in Johnston, Colorado. Andre Israel in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Mark Drinkwater. Can you hear the siren?
Yes, I can.
Mark Drinkwater adds class to the show. Mark Drinkwater in Inglewood, Taranaki, New Zealand. Jesus, a fire, I guess. Ray Jacobson, Sir Ray Jacobson, I believe. He wants a douchebag call out for Brian Crows. Douchebag. And my brother Ronald Jacobson. Douchebag. Hey, 5038. Sir Austin of the Snowy Cascades in Sammamish, Washington. Laura Wilson, 5038. Jackson Butler. Sir Haymoose in Mooresville, North Carolina. Victor Gregg in Decatur, Georgia. This is for 2 shows, by the way. I want to remind everybody. Matthew Durney, 5038. David Hawes, 5038. He says, I've been out of town, OTG. Well, good for him. Herb Lamb, Sir Herb Lamb, 5038. Jason Zeisler, 5038. Sir James in Lost Wages, Nevada. Steeler Grummel in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Alexa Delgado. Keep the show going, she says. Stephen Tuckney in Littleton, Colorado.
Who wants to come clean and says he's been listening since late 2016, but now just donating for the first time. So
You've been de-douched.
Thank you very much. They're on a tight budget, and they still came through. We appreciate that.
Chris Bingham in Louisville, Kentucky. Jeff Coleman in Winona, Minnesota. Scott Fuller in Cumming, Georgia. Ian Comunali. It's like an Italian, I bet you. Comunali, we'll say. Miles Comer, I think he's a sir. Cole Candler in Lynchburg, Virginia. There's a lot of Lynchburgs. That's funny. Alan Huffman in Urbandale, Iowa.
Has a call out for Troy in Ames, Iowa as being man overboard and a douchebag.
Good call. Baron Mark Tanner finishes the list from Whittier, California at 5038. Gregory Cieslaw, $50.01. Now we got $50 donors, name and location. Scott E. Knight in Lost Wages. Got a lot of Vegas-ites. That's good. Sir Josh Defabo, parts unknown. Dennis Brown in Rhinelander, Wisconsin. Bradley Ledden, parts unknown. Michael Levin. Michael Robinson in North Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Tyler Schimpf in Bothell, Washington. And last on the list for shows 1038 and 1039 is Nils Bonnecker in Hamburg, Deutschland.
And Jeff Coleman from Winona, Minnesota, nuts 5038 says, keep on. Money will flow better after midterms. Call out Jenna Jansen as a douchebag. Thanks, he says. All right. And we thank all of you. Appreciate that. It's a nice showing. Thank you very much. Thank you for your courage. And obviously want to thank everybody who came in under $50. Many of those are sustainers.
We love the sustainers. And if you like the show, you might love the show. And I picked up one from under 50 from Sir Shumi, mercenary of the racetrack, I wanted to share. Night karma pays off. I just donated $33.38 to thank you for the good karma that I got from becoming a knight. I donated previously to gain karma for winning races in the Pirelli World Challenge, and our shop just took part in our first Pirelli World Challenge race at Lime Rock Park in Connecticut. I actually drove there once. I think I got my starting license there at MTV days. And we stormed pole position. Turk took first on race 1 and third on race 2 due to mechanical setback. Our odds at best were for a top 10 finish, but somehow we managed to beat some of the best GT4 cars in the country to get the top spot. I can't help but think this is in no small part due to No Agenda karma. I've included a few pics of our car, which is gorgeous. I don't see any No Agenda stickers on it. I sent him a note back asking him to put a No Agenda sticker somewhere on the car.
He says, I've included a few pics of our car. There's a mandatory series sponsor that we have to have on all the cars. It's none other than the Pew Pew guys themselves, CrowdStrike, who aren't really
put the No Agenda sticker right under that.
Right under. Those aren't the Pew Pew guys, but we hate them just as much. Yeah, definitely put it underneath there. If anyone's interested to see our performance, it airs on CBS Sports June 6th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or just search the YouTubes for World Challenge Round 5 or 6 GTS class. Thank you again. Hopefully more good results to come from Road America. Thank you for your courage, Sir Shumi, mercenary of the racetrack. Thank you very much, and we love that. We've always had a large contingent of producers in racing teams. We've got the motorcycle racing. We have the No Agenda racing. I don't know what happened to those guys. I think this is a different class, though. The GTS cars, that's a real...
I'm unfamiliar with the class. It's one of those SCCA, I'm sure.
Yeah, but they're cute. They're short. They're like little short Le Mans cars, kind of what they look like. I like them. It's a nice nice
sure it's fun to drive.
Yeah, exactly. Come to Austin, to COTA. Circuit of the Americas. Let's drive. Some notes here from Eric the Shill. There's a No Agenda meetup June 8th in Chattanooga. contact at Tom Novak on noagendasocial.com, a.k.a. Tomrad Tomanov. And we look forward to that. And I'm going to reiterate my pledge for a Texas meetup very soon in the Austin area. And thank you all again. We've got some jobs karma. And, of course, please remember that we have a show coming up on Thursday. We'd love to have your support at
Dvorak.org/NA. Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
It's your birthday.
All right, here's your list for today. We congratulate Sir David Fugazotto, Andy Cantrell, who turned 50 on the 30th of May, Rory Buska, 33 on May 31st, Ryan McWhirter, who turns 35 today, as does Eric Rosenbaum. He celebrates his 49th birthday. Then we have Stephen Janosik. He says happy birthday to his smoking hot wife. Dwight Chick to his niece Amalia. She turns 3 today, and his baby sister Eleanor, a brand new human resource. We welcome her to the universe and Gitmo Nation. And Douglas Chick also says happy birthday to Dwight Chick. He turns 30 years today. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
Woo! Okay, we have now Sir Ramsey Kane was already a knight, correct? I mean, otherwise we wouldn't call him sir.
I always thought so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we've already knighted him, but he did request, because he thanked us for, well, we thanked him for, putting together his specials, and he said, all I want is Steel Reserve and Black and Milds at the round table. So let me add that.
I know what that is.
What do you know? You do or don't?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay, I have no idea either, but we should. We're adding it to the list. It's he's a knight, so that's what we do here.
Title changes, turn and face the slave. Title changes, don't wanna be a douchebag.
That's right. Title change. Sir Colin Sloman has reached the level of baronet and hereby changes his title to Baronet Horatio of Arabia. Thank you very much for your support of the No Agenda podcast. And that will be reflected on all peerage maps, Gitmo-wide, itm.im/peerage or Dvorak.org/peerage.htm, all uppercase. And thank you again. And we look forward to the support we can get for Thursday's program as we come back with more deconstruction. Let's see. There was one thing.
Before you go on, I do want to read a note that refers to the some earlier points that you were making regarding, or one of our guys was making regarding listening in. This is from Keith Ray, John and Adam. First of all, in the morning. I haven't written for a while. I've been a devoted listener since 2008. I had an experience in the car yesterday while listening to Audible. And while it may just be an incredible coincidence, it might be something very disturbing. I had my kids in the car, and I decided to start listening to Mark Twain's A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. In the early part of the chapter 1, when the Yankee finds himself back in time meeting the knight for the first time, he explains that he is from Hartford, Connecticut. And, of course, the knight says he has never heard of such a place. Now, for the weird part. Within 5 to 10 seconds of the word Hartford, Connecticut being spoken, I get a call from a telemarketer from Hartford, Connecticut. I cannot remember what they were selling me as I mistakenly hung up before getting details. I did go back and check my Verizon bills. I have no other calls from Connecticut this last 12 months, and I live in New Orleans, by the way. Maybe it's nothing, but maybe the cross-pollination advertising is even further along than I thought. Yeah, there you go.
Well,
they're listening, people.
The solution is to go OTG off the grid. And I'm working now on publishing a document that will help you with this to some degree. But the CNBC, and I'm sure this is just to, it's all about stock stuff. But they've had a number of interviews regarding smartphone addiction. And I have 2 clips here, which I'd like to share. Yeah,
because I have a follow-up clip.
Yeah, and this, of course, is something I've been looking at. You now have also seen this. You've witnessed certain, in particular, women really have the addiction. This first one is, we already have, we saw that the Googles came out and they were coming up with your digital wellness so you can see what apps you use too much.
Does anybody think of this as a tether?
Well, that's a very good one.
I'm walking around holding my phone. So I'm talking to the women out there who do this. Don't you think this is like a tether? It's like you're a slave. You might as well have a thing around your neck and a long leash.
Well, addiction is a serious problem. You can be addicted to gambling. You can be addicted to drugs. You can be addicted to many things. And I truly believe in addiction. I think Silicon Valley, the tech companies know this, and they may not have set out to make it that way, but they certainly discovered it. And actually, I have a clip in a minute from a former Google design ethicist.
Well, actually, then I think my clip should play first.
Okay. Which one is it?
This is
Tech News and Kids, I'll bet.
Yeah, I think so.
Jamie Yuccas takes a look at how they're dealing with their kids.
In Silicon Valley, devices are an essential part of daily life. But many of the tech titans creating these products choose to power down when they leave the office, following industry giants like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, who restricted their own kids' access to technology at home. Pierre Laurent has worked for companies including Microsoft and Intel. He says the tech industry designs products to hook users.
Do you think the average parent is aware of that danger?
No, I don't think the parents are aware of that.
Pierre and his wife Monica became concerned that their 3 children would miss out on real-life experiences while on their devices. Researchers are still learning more about how technology affects kids, but some early studies of heavy tech users show potential links to a rise in teen suicide rates, addiction, anxiety, and loss of social skills. None of the 3 children played video games or watched TV, and they didn't get cell phones until they were teenagers. Their 13-year-old daughter Maya spends her free time knitting and playing in the backyard.
Do you ever miss technology?
Not really, no. The only thing I might miss technology for is listening to music or an audiobook.
Every parent is really struggling with how to reap the benefits of technology while minimizing some of the risks.
Caroline Knorr is the senior parenting editor for Common Sense Media, a nonprofit that studies the effect of media and technology on kids. They recommend paying close attention to kids' demeanor while using their devices and creating a schedule with guidelines on the types of tech activities they can do and for how long. For Monica and Pierre, the hope is that a tech-free childhood will lead to more balance later in life.
Young children need to grow in a different environment that doesn't have that much technology in it.
Jamie Yuccas, CBS News, Silicon Valley.
Yeah, spot on. As we were traveling, you got some downtime at the airport and you're just observing, and you'll see parents to shut their kids up. Here, take the iPad. Here, take my phone. And you can have all this hoity-toity. We're going to watch what our kids are doing. But actually, the old adage holds true in this one. We need an updated version of this.
What are you doing?
She was full, I could tell.
Come on, she's not full.
Ah, shit, that's the wrong one. Ah, damn it, failed. What we need is, I learned it by watching you, okay? That's what we need. Because what's happening is the children are watching your behavior, and they're emulating that. It was actually very funny.
What's that clip you played? It was just some.
I don't know. It was wrong. It was very wrong. So we're at the beach, and I'm like, okay, let me take a selfie because I've got the Nokia E71. It has a whopping 3.2 megapixel camera. When you want to take when you want to take a selfie, you hold it reverse because there's no front-facing camera. There's actually a little mirror, one of those like a little bulbous type thing, so you can just see what you have in the shot. But it's a you know what I'm talking about? A little mirror.
Yeah, pretty much a mirror.
Yeah, so it's just,
you're looking at the screen somehow.
You're not looking at the screen. You're actually looking at a mirror. There's a mirror on the back of the phone next to the camera, a very tiny bulbous piece of shiny metal, and you use that to see. Okay, I'm kind of in the shot. And
I see. Okay.
And then so the picture's taken. I hand it to Tina. And the first thing she does is she tries to pinch and zoom on the screen.
Sure.
And I was like, no, that really won't work.
It doesn't work on half the smartphones half the time either.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But this addiction is a growing problem. And Apple, I guess, has their Worldwide Developers Conference Is that today, this weekend or Monday? I don't know exactly when. And they will be coming out. So the Googles have their digital wellness. Apple will be bringing you digital health.
Today, Apple and others with smartwatches, they're tracking every step, how we sleep, if our heartbeats and those things. We understand our...
I might point out this guy is an app developer. So he's definitely, we have to be careful. We have to help out. But listen to how all in he really is.
Physical lives really well with the technology, and these companies reflect that information to us to live a better physical life. They have all the data, and Apple's at the core of this, and so does Google, who across all the platforms understand our digital lives, and they should be able to give us back a pretty detailed, but not overly detailed, view of a day in a life of your...
I love that. Pretty detailed, but not too detailed. Just pretty detailed. Just a little. Just give us a little bit, please. Oh, please, overlords.
Of a user. So what are your physical habits? What are your digital habits? So that you can then see it and then understand if you're doing what you want to do or if you need to adjust something.
Now, I'm in favor of us having the same data on ourselves that the companies have on us, certainly, but it seems like your solution is also part of the problem. Should we be relying on technology to tell us when we've had too much technology, or do we need to just sort of physically put the phone down when we get home and talk to the kids and actually physically put the thing away without technology telling us we need to?
I think it's a matter of personal choice and family choice. And so there's different ways of dealing with this situation. You know, if people decide they want to always have devices at the table around at the family table, so be it. I'm not going to go Tipper Gore here on this. But at the same time, we need to have the tools so that our families and our individuals, right, to be able to, maintain and monitor what's going on and try to strike the right balance. And so, yes, I do think that in certain times the devices should go away, and other times the devices should be there because they're powerful tools. We don't have the tools to control our environment today. And if you're an addict, the best thing you can do is get out of the environment. But these tools are very powerful and very important for our education, for our work lives, our livelihoods, as well as for doing transactions and living in the world. So we need to be able to wrest control back to the users so they can decide what they want to do with their lives and with their families.
Yeah, good luck with that. And I think the key of that was, we should have have your drug dealer help you get off the drugs. I'm sure that's going to work really well. This clip is from, now we've played clips from the Common Sense Media guys before. I think the main guy is Jim Steyer. He's an Apple investor, and one of his group is Tristan Harris, who was this former design ethicist at Google. And this is a little longer clip, but they start off with and I guess there's 3 different bills now being proposed in California to stop the addiction, which really you need to take a whole different tact, I think, to stop someone who's addicted to something. And the first thing they want is the bots need to be labeled. You need to know if you're conversing with a bot on social network, and from there it gets into some of these addiction issues.
And so if we need this to be an honest, if this is about the public square, the integrity of the public square, the idea is to clearly label, just like Blade Runner, right? You don't want human impersonation where you think you're talking to a human being, but it's actually a robot. I mean, he could be a robot. You need to be able to actually clearly label that, he's a robot, if he is one.
And there's really 3 pieces of legislation. The bot bill in California is transparency and democracy. So you can tell that this message was sent to you by a bot based in Russia or whatever. That should be required everywhere. Number 2, the Markey bill is actually about research.
Whose job is it to verify that there are humans on the platform and that the robots are correctly labeled? Because in the past, it's the company's job. In the past, the companies have said,
Facebook,
just
Twitter, a platform. Whoever's coining, nope, that's baloney. No, we will not accept that. And the law is written so that they are held responsible for identifying that. The Markey bill is a research bill. Hey, we're conducting the biggest social experiment in real time on our kids and on ourselves when it comes to cell phone addiction and behavior, and there's no research. So that's just a basic research bill that should have been done years ago, but it needs to be done. The third major piece of legislation we have is a bill that would regulate the Internet of Things. You know, talking Barbie, your toaster that takes your data, Alexa, Google Home, all these devices in your home, in your kitchen that are sucking up your data. That should be made so that the public has the ability to decide what data they give up and to have control and express consent over how they give up that data. Those are the beginning of a thoughtful, common sense regulation of this area. Look, the tech companies provide great benefits to society when used appropriately and wisely. But there are real downsides, and everybody in your audience knows that because they're addicted to their phones and concerned about some of the fallout. So what we're calling for is a more balanced approach, and there is a role for common sense legislation and regulation when it comes to the broader tech industry.
Tristan, as somebody who used to work at Google, somebody who's a Silicon Valley insider, why are you taking this position now?
I actually genuinely view this as an existential threat. That's a long explanation why, but I've been raising these issues at Google since 2013 when I made a presentation about basically how we as Google have a moral responsibility in shaping what 1 billion people's attention, where it goes, right? And when you shape people's attention, you're shaping their thoughts, and thoughts precede action. So you're really shaping society. You're shaping culture. You're shaping whether people have the relationships they would have intended to have, whether they sleep or not. You're shaping elections. There's an entire set of consequences when you shape people's attention through design. And I was calling attention to the fact that we have these cognitive biases, and the technology is often exploiting how our minds work. And so we have to get ahead of this because we've seen that the incentives of tech companies, which are to maximize attention, are not the same as what we need in our public square of democracy. In fact, they're fundamentally misaligned. And we have to get very serious that advertising is misaligned with democracy when it comes to technology platforms.
So I have two things about this. One is that the dream, the promise of you're going to get the right ad at the right time that's tailored for you. Now, besides the fact that that really hasn't happened, unless, of course, you're being spied on and you visit a condo place and all of a sudden you're getting timeshare ads. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. The ads that we receive aren't just an ad that says, hey, buy this product. The ads themselves are filled with tracking, which is, you can get the Washington, the WAPA, which I don't read anymore because of the paywall. Screw them. I don't care. It's hard to get. It's hard to scrape it to. You can buy a subscription. You have different subscriptions. So we'll give you an ad that has no third-party trackers. So you're paying for it. You get an ad, which is okay. You get a newspaper, you get an ad, but the ad is tracking you now. That, I think, is a basic problem, and that needs to be addressed.
Well, I think that's what Brave addresses.
It does. It certainly does, and I love the Brave browser for that very reason. But here is I discovered, big discovery, but I read something on vacation, and it freaked me out. Amazon is now going into the advertising business. In fact, without us knowing it, they already do $1 billion a quarter in advertising. I'm a little freaked out because the profile Amazon has on me, besides having all my payment information, being able to get my credit card details from Equifax or whoever else will or Visa directly, I don't know, to understand my purchase behavior, which all you really need is the credit card statement to know what someone does. But they know what I buy on Amazon. They know what movies I watch on Amazon Prime. They know if I listen to Audible. They know what books I read. Now that they've bought Whole Foods, they know what I eat. And now they're going into advertising? Fuck these guys. No way. I'm out. I'm out of this. I got to go to cash, and I can't buy.
They've been advertising for, as far as I can tell, years.
I didn't know this, but they're
when
pushing.
When you do a search, it always says sponsored products, and they have 2 or 3 of them.
Right, but they're going to do an ad network if they're not already. So not just stuff to buy on Amazon, but you can go to them because they have complete profiles on everybody, very detailed, extremely detailed. This is a big problem. Now, I can't be a part of that.
Well, then give up on it.
I'm going to. That's what I'm saying. Of course I'm going to give up on it.
But it should be in the book.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say something about that last clip you played.
Okay.
First of all, I think it begins with just like Blade Runner,
yeah,
which immediately tells me this guy's an idiot. They mentioned these bots.
Yeah.
We've got to do something about them. By the way, I got one of those calls again. I wish I had recorded it because I was upstairs, of the robot girl. And this is not as good as the original robot girl I've heard, but this was okay. And I asked her if she was a bot, and she says, "Oh, well, yeah." She had some bogus excuse.
Is that what she said?
Kind of. And then I said, "Well, you're a bot." When I said the second time, that she just hung up on me.
Oh.
So I got to remember not to do that. Anyway, what I'll do instead is ask personal questions. What do you look like? What are you wearing?
Hey, baby, what are you wearing? Bot.
So this guy with this bot thing, he said, I'm thinking, as soon as he says it, somebody did kind of mention, how do you enforce this? How important is it that, so some bot girl calls me up on a phone, or I'm got one of those. Most of the tech companies have these. Hi, I'm your automated, helper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see this being any sort of a big deal ever. And then you have enforcement. Who's going to enforce it? You going to set up an agency to bot cops? Or what are you going to do? And then what's the penalties? There's no penalties. The whole thing is bull crap. Find something else to bitch about.
Well, of course. Yeah, of course. That was, I just put that in there because it kind of led into everything. But yeah, of course it's bull crap. I mean, for all I know, you're a bot. I don't know if I'm talking to a real person.
I could be a bot. I will hang up if you could accuse me of being a bot.
Hey, John, what are you wearing?
Hey, underwear.
Anyway, so when I say OTG, that's what this is about. You have to give up the phones. And my going OTG was not so much about it was about addiction, really. Now I realize that all these little pings and blips and blops and stuff popping up, and it's just impossible when you have a phone that won't do that for you. And you can look all you want, but it's not gonna give you the latest update. And that is how you break addiction. You've got to quit. You got to go cold turkey. You got to go all the way. And that is just another one of our life-saving tips here at the No Agenda Show. And for Thursday, I have some, get to it today. I got some info on the Puerto Rico deaths that I want to discuss.
I got a short clip.
What, you want to do that? I'm playing the end of show music. You want to
play the clip. It's very short.
Which one?
It says Puerto Rico deaths.
Well, if we're going to do that, then I have to do the one. I said, I'm just saying I'm going to move this.
Oh, I see. Well, you said I got a 10-second clip. You could actually play it with the outro, but
no. But let's do this on Thursday.
Okay,
and we'll play your 10-second clip on Thursday.
Now, I want to talk on my Thursday show. I want to talk about the NOCO negotiations. They're on again, off again, on again.
Yep,
they're on again as we expected.
Yep.
And there's what else do I have on here?
It's going to be a jam-packed Thursday show.
An Uber driver shot a passenger.
Thanks to a brand new mixologist, Jack on Fire, bringing us a nice end-of-show mix. And Sir Chris Wilson has a little replacement anthem for us. And again, on Thursday, we'll be back and we'll bring you the NOCOs, and we'll bring you the Ubers and the Puerto Ricos. And anything else that takes place, because after all, it is a show day. You never know what happens. And we want you to remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. I am coming to you from downtown Austin, Texas. We are the capital of the Drone Star State, here in FEMA Region 6 on all governmental maps in the 5x9 Cludio in the common law condo. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I'm sitting on all these Louie recordings, I'm John C. Dvorak.
You got to send me a USB stick, man. I want to have your whole collection as a backup. It's a backup.
Louis.
We'll be back on Thursday right here on No Agenda. Until then, as always, adios, mofos. I need a cab.
A cab. Okay. Black. I don't know about you, but driving around, especially in like a city area, 75% of it happens at night because people are wearing all black outfits. can't see a person wearing all black on a very dimly lit street at night. When I was a kid, and so you can't see, no wonder there's all these accidents. You can't see a person wearing all black on a very dimly lit street at night. They make this comment, 75% of these accidents happen at night. They all wear black, You can't see a person wearing all black on a very dimly lit street at night. I don't know about you. You missed my lecture. Apparently you were paying no attention to it when I played those clips. And so you can't see. No wonder there's all these accidents. Black. You can't see a person wearing all black on a very dimly lit street at night. Here's what it gets me.
Professor Ted knows better.
And so you can't see. No wonder there's all these accidents. All of those babies are dead. All of those people are dead. They're dead. All of those babies are dead. All of those people are dead. They're dead.
It is a huge number.
Because people are wearing all black outfits. I recall driving up and down, the local streets. I've done it a number of times. Wearing all black.
You can get away with it.
Black. When I was a kid, black.
Yeah, no, wait. If I run out of gas, I can always pull the chute. It's fine.
Wear white at night. White. A pet peeve of mine emerges from this clip. Pedestrian deaths. Woo-hoo! You can't see a person wearing all black on a very dimly lit street at night. Wear white at night. Wear white at night. White. Wear white at night. Wear white at night. Nobody wears white. They all wear black. And so you can't see. No wonder there's all these accidents. I mean, come on, people. You missed my lecture. Apparently you were paying no attention to it when I played those clips. Wear white at night. P.S. I wear white at night.
Life-saving tips here on the No Agenda Show.
Life-saving tips.
Saved another kid. Saved another one. That's beautiful.
Replacement Gitmo Nation National Anthem. Take 33.
Douchebags in your land, douchebags in my land. From California to the Gitmo Island, like the dear Cal Sharpton to Maxine Waters. Douchebags to piss off you and me. Thank you very much.
The best podcast in the universe.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Calm down.